Good afternoon and welcome to Kart Chasers coverage of the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series, the championship finale, live from the Autobahn Country Club in Joliet, Illinois. Of course, today's event is brought to you by Hawks Driver Performance. My name is Taylor Burris. Alongside me is none other than Emery Ledia. Emery, we are here for the championship here. Qualifying is just getting started here for the 206 Sportsman Division. A lot of great things happening. There are a lot of great storylines getting ready for this championship finale here in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, starting out with the 206 Sportsman category, you certainly have seen some close battles all the way throughout the season. Heading into this race, it is a tight championship battle. I mean, you've got Brady Shaw, who with drops leads the championship points at the moment, but you come into this race with three different drivers with a chance at it. Landon Buer has a solid chance. We've seen AJ Stoner with some nice pace all season. So this category, around this 8/10 of a mile track, you're going to see some exciting racing. The Briggs could have series has put on outstanding races over the course of the season. You've got a packed field at 18. This is the biggest field we've seen in a while in the category, and as they head around to start their first flying laps, it's going to be important to see who can qualify up front here.
It certainly is. Of course, the Briggs 206 Sportsman Division is brought to you by Perkins All-Star Exterior and Construction. Make sure you go visit them, of course, at PerkinAllStars.com for more information here as we are getting set for the first flying laps for your competitors. The green flag is out for their qualifying attempts, and as they get out there, we have 18 karts joining the circuit right now as they make their way through. But I do got to say, here at the Autobahn Country Club here with this kart circuit, it's a very unique circuit. You have a lot of elevation changes, some bank corners that really provide a lot of high-speed areas where drivers can make up time, but also where drivers have to be careful on where they set their footing in order to have a perfect lap around the circuit.
Yeah, this track layout is really interesting because you have a tight section at the back of the track, one of the extensions that we've seen at the Autobahn Country Club from when it was originally put onto the Route 66 and USPKS Country, or the USPKS circuit. And we've really seen tight racing through the back part of the track, but it's one of those tracks where you have to be mistake-free, really sort of attack the apex of the corner, specifically that backside of the track with the really tight corners going from curb to curb. You can gain or lose a lot of time, and I think that's going to be critical when we get into the races and into tight packs in some of the classes, not to make a mistake, not to drop a wheel on exit with no real runoff, because otherwise you're going to lose a lot of time here.
You certainly are, and with that, qualifying is underway. Drivers have already set their fastest lap so far here with their first lap completed. It's going to be the 120 machine of Landon Buer, who currently have the fastest time with a 58.802 in his Nitro kart from Danville, Indiana. Putting on a great run currently right now. He is currently holding about a 10th advantage over AJ Stoner in the 420 machine. And then Ezekiel Height will round out your top three currently as they are coming around to take the white flag for their second attempt of a run. No changes as Landon will go faster with a 58.555, a really blistering lap here around with these 206.
Yeah, a lot of the similar names that we've seen up at the front all season around 66. You've got Landon Buer, who, as I mentioned at the top, has the championship lead by raw points, but with drops, he's going to have a little bit of work to do. Ezekiel Hate's another one that we've seen run fast at times, especially up in Dowsman in round 2 at Badger Kart Club. AJ Stoner, your last feature race winner here in Briggs 206 Sportsman. He's been inconsistent at times this year, had a little bit of DQs, whether it be for driving standards or for being underweight, but he's back here in the top 3, and really at this moment, the top 4 from Buer all the way down to Brady Shaw are all within 2/10, so they head around to complete their final lap of qualifying. You can see some action coming around up towards the left-hander. I believe that's into turn 8. That is going to be really intriguing to see how this last lap shapes out, because any of those 4 can get themselves on pole and put themselves in a good position to start off their championship fight.
It certainly is, as the checker flag is out for the end of the 206 Sportsman qualifying for this course, brought to you by none other than the Perkins All-Star. Make sure to go check them out at PerkinAllStars.com. And as they work their way through, we will find out who will receive the AMAX Fast Time Award here for your 206 Sportsman class. Currently, it is still going to be Landon Buer who will hold on to that time. He did not improve on his final lap here, but as the field works their way through, it's safe to say Landon Buer will be your pole sitter for the 206 Sportsman division.
Yeah, and that's going to give him 10 more points to his championship battle. And again, coming into the race with drops, he was about 60 points behind Brady Shad. So now you go into the pre-finals, and that's 50 points. Shad not too far behind in P4, so that's a good place to work for. But certainly as we get into the 10-lap pre-finals here in this race, it's going to be exciting to see what Landon Buer can do. He's put himself in a good position to close out his championship battle, and I certainly think as we get into the race. We've seen consistency from him all season long. Now we see a little bit of that raw pace that's going to be what he needs to clinch this championship.
It certainly is. We'll go a quick rundown of your top 5. It's going to be Landon Buer on the pole position with A.J. Stoner starting there in second place. Ezekiel Height will be starting in P3. Brady Shad and then Christopher Yutsky round out your top 5 in qualifying for your 206 Sportsman division. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, it'll be your KA 100 Seniors next on the track.
USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parolin Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParolinUSA.com.
Welcome back to Kart Chasers coverage of the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series Championship Finale live from none other than the Autobahn Country Club. Of course, today's broadcast is brought to you by none other than Hots Performance Driving School. Make sure to go check them out as well on all their platforms as we are getting ready for the KA 100 Seniors. 2 groups of qualifying going out. Group B is going to be the first group. Of course, how they do this, of course, Emory is the slower class from practice. Bottom half will go out there first, then the top half of the practice field will go back out there a little later on as soon as we get things started. But here we go. Group B is now entering out on the track. 3 laps around this circuit as they get themselves ready to go here for this first qualifying attempt for the weekend. And let's take a look at, of course, the KA 100 Seniors. How is the championship looking for this class?
Yeah, this is probably one of the closest battles you're going to see at Route 66 this year. You've got Brandon Lemke, the 2-time defending champion in the category, is more regional championships than I can count. He is up at the front of the battle at the moment, both in raw points and with drops, so it's pretty close behind him. You have only 8 points between him and Austin Years, who is a senior rookie coming up from the KA junior category. He is in second place in the championship, and with a good weekend, with getting his first feature win, could put himself back up into the points lead. And then behind them, you've got 2 guys that are on the fringes. You've got Nick Terlecki, who has to win every single session to be in contention. That is, get pole, win the maximum 50 points for the pre-final, and every point for the final. He is going to have a lot of work to do to get himself back in the contention, and Alexander Kardashian is in third. He's close behind, but it looks like it's going to come down to Lemke and Jers for this championship.
It certainly is. As the green flag is out, we are now going to get our first flying laps here momentarily for your KA 100 Seniors. The Group B category is now out there on the circuit to try to get their first lap around here. And noticing, of course, one of the things from last year, we're running a little bit of a different circuit than what we're normally used to when it comes to racing here at the Autobahn Country Club. They added a little bit extra corners around here, and explain maybe some of the challenges that these drivers may face.
Yeah, so this is a new layout that they've run over the last year or so, and it's something that they kind of have utilized with the skid plate with the skid pad section and the back end of the track. And it makes the back end a lot more tight than what we saw when we first came into this category about 5 years ago at Autobahn Country Club. And really for this track, it adds a little bit of character to it on the backside. You have to hit the curbs and be able to utilize all of the track in the tighter parts of the section. And then you also have to be able to find a little bit of a rhythm on the coming down the front straightaway as well. And so you can't gear the kart too low. You can't run too low of a gear, or else you're going to struggle for straight line speed. So it's a good balancing act for both the driver to be able to maximize the track width, as well as for the mechanics to be able to find the right gear ratio and be able to really put themselves in a good position.
It certainly is, and the first flying laps are already out there on the circuit. It's going to be kart number 80, Brian Reddick, who currently goes to the top of the board in his Merlin kart from Springfield, Illinois, with a 52.905, just about a tenth faster than second place driver Armin Kuzovic, who currently holds second place, as the white flag is out for this B group as they get ready for their final run to the finish for qualifying here today. As the field works their way through, no changes currently in the standings right now, as one driver, Grant Vogel, moves up to P7.
Yeah, Armin Kuzovic is a name to watch. He's someone that really has only been in a handful of races the last couple of years, but a massive veteran in the K Senior and X30 Senior categories at Route 66 at USPKS. He's in the second group, but I don't think he went out for practice, so his time might be a good indication. Brian Reddick, another one that we haven't seen a lot of on the scene this year, but Jeremy Fierke, someone who finished on the podium up at Dowsman at Badger Karts Club, is the fastest through 2 laps so far with a 52.608. He is going to be one to watch. We'll have to see what his lap time can look like on his third lap as they come around. Reddick recess fast time to go through on his third lap with a 52.559. So Reddick, Fierke, Kuzovic, all of those are pretty good names to watch, but they're still not coming close to the times that we saw in the final round of practice, which got into the 51-second bracket. That might be reserved for guys like Brandon Lemke, Alexander Kardashian, Austin Jers, Josh Oates, Nick Terlecki, the guys in the championship battle. But Reddick pushed out a good benchmark as we now watch Fierke come up towards the backside of the track, coming towards to complete his final lap. Seeing more and more guys. You see Fierke there in the number 07 Kart Republic kart. He has had a solid season so far. We'll have to see if he can put himself anywhere near the front of the grid. Does not improve on his last lap. Stays in second fastest. So it looks like Brian Reddick is going to end up fastest in this group, as Armin Kuzovic goes quicker just as I say that. And
certainly his commentator's curse kicked in overdrive right there for you, as Armin will take over the current AMAX fastest time award with a 52.493. Of course, the Techno Kart from Chicago, Illinois, will currently see if he can hold on to that. But like you said, we saw times in the 51s in the Group A that is about to now hit the track.
Yeah, and at the moment, it looks like you're seeing the main group getting set to go out. You're also seeing just a couple of guys finishing up on their cooldown laps. And so this is a group that I would expect to see lap times up to about half a second quicker than what we saw in Group 1. Certainly, Kuzovic set a good benchmark. He's someone that's probably going to be in the back half of the top 10 throughout the weekend, as well as Reddick and Fierke. Those are good names to get an eye on, but there are a lot of heavy hitters coming up next. I mean, you've got Nick Terlecki, again, has to stay on pole to have a shot at this championship. Josh Oates, his teammate for the host driver development team, obviously sponsoring this weekend. They're going to be ones to watch. You've also got Brandon Lemke, who has been dominant at this track. He swept the entire weekend last year. He's in the championship lead. Good spot for him. And, I mean, you've just got so many fast names here still to go. Reyes Liberante, you've got Mick Gabriel. You've got guys, Bryce Mersberger we've seen on the podium this year, all the way down to Alexander Kardashian, Gio Cicero coming back this weekend. There are a lot of heavy hitters about to hit the track here for the second group for the K Senior category, sponsored by Ultra Racing Engines.
Good, they certainly are, as they now are entering out onto the course now. And, of course, we have a big field of karts here this weekend for the KA100 Seniors, brought to you by Wolters Engines. And, of course, it's over 20 karts here, so it's going to be a big group of cars when we go for the finals later on today. And it's going to provide a lot of great racing action, a lot of great passing opportunities. Looking through here, what are some of those passing opportunities where we could see here out on the track? Of course, one area I was looking at, of course, is going to be over by turns 4 through 6, where we could see some great action happening here today.
Yeah, I think certainly there's probably 3 or 4 passing opportunities that I've seen on this track that really stand out to me. You've got turn 1, which is going to be at the end of the long straightaway. That's going to be a nice place to pass, although there's not a lot of braking zone. As well as that, again, like you mentioned, the turn 4 through 6 offers a good section in the open part of the track. And then on the backside of the track, the turn 9 hairpin and the turn 11 hairpin, both of them seem like good opportunities to really make passes, but you will lose time making them. So, again, this comes down to just sort of the balance of racecraft. Are you willing to make those passes in places that might lose you more time, or are you going to try to be a little bit more conservative and go for just a main straightaway pass, which certainly has a good opportunity, but it's also one of those things where you cannot afford to lose too much time, because this track has shown the ability to spread out a lot of guys quickly just because of the nature of the track and how long it is and how many different sections there are.
Currently waiting on the first flying laps here around the circuit here as we wait for this Group A to work their way through. They have received the green flag, so they are now on their first flying lap. And as some of the drivers now come across the line, Brandon Lemke now goes up to the top. Now how about Nicholas Tarelke? He now moves up to P1. Now Adam Maxwell. So we're really seeing some flying laps. Adam Maxwell with a 52.011 currently with his Tony Kart from Greenwood, Indiana. Currently holds on to the pole position overall for this group.
Yeah, and Maxwell already at 52.01 is only about 3/10 off what we saw as the fastest time in happy hour, and is a good start as Mick Gabriel puts himself into P2. We haven't seen Mick Gabriel since the first round of Route 66 this season. He puts himself into second. Nick Terlecki, again, has to be on pole to be in championship contention, but realistically for him, just trying to maximize his results, third place is a good start to the session for him. And then you've got Racel Barante and Austin Jers is, again, going to be a name to watch in this one, as he is the closest competitor for Lemke in the championship. As now second lap comes through, Brandon Lemke to the top of the time sheets, Nick Terlecki into second place, Austin Jers puts himself at fifth, and Adam Maxwell, again, fastest on lap 1, he's P2 now as Racel Barante slots himself into the top 5.
Currently about a 10th difference now as Alexander Kardashian now moves up to P2. Lemke still is your current pole sitter here as they are going to come around for one more attempt of a flying lap around this circuit. Lemke, of course, in his Merlin kart from Eagle, Wisconsin, looking to see if he can close out a good opportunity for the championship here for the Route 66 Sprint Series as the field now works their way towards the back half of the course, trying to set a flying lap here once again to maintain the pole position for the race later on today.
Yeah, and certainly Lemke, we've seen, again, last year was able to sweep this whole event. He's been very fast this season, as is tradition for Brandon Lemke. Again, one of the best karting drivers we've seen in North America. He resets fast time again with a 51.759. We'll see what Maxwell can do. He goes on pole. Adam Maxwell to pole with a 51.736. Still waiting on guys like Alexander Kardashian, Christian Redzian to go through as well, but it looks like Kardashian is not going to be able to improve enough. He comes very close, only 4 thousandths off of Adam Maxwell, but Adam Maxwell is going to put himself on pole for the moment, seeing the last few drivers from the fast group coming through. Mick Gabriel can improve, and I believe, looking down the rest of the line, only Cameron Cass has yet to come across the line in the back half of the top 10. So Adam Maxwell, barring any late surprises, I already jinxed myself once, it looks like he's going to hang on to win the AMAX pole award. Again, the AMAX driver puts himself at the top of the timesheets again in K Senior. I believe this is the second time this season he's done that. So a great start to the weekend for the number 141 AMAX driver in Adam Maxwell. Alexander Kardashian comes home in second. A good start to the weekend for him. Lemke in P3 again. A nice continuous stretch of consistent racing for him in the championship. And then Mick Gabriel back in the series, and Austin Jers will round out your top 5.
With that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we will be back with the 206 Juniors. The 206 Juniors brought to you by One Power Sports. We'll be right back here on Kart Chasers.
Greenemeier is going to score the final win of the U.S. Pro Kart Series. Hayden Jones is a national race winner. Nate Cicero wins.
Four-time champion Ryan Norberg winning Super Nationals 24.
Winner, winner, winner.
Are you ready to join one of North America's winningest driver development programs? Rollison Performance Group offers fully customizable packages that are meant to take your game to the next level. For more information, head to rollisonperformancegroup.com. Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule has support available at all levels, from club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the CKNA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the Scooter Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there.
Route 66 Sprint Series live from the Autobahn Kart Circuit here in Joliet, Illinois. My name is Taylor Burris. Alongside me once again is Emery Lida as we are finishing up qualifying for the Briggs 206 Juniors, brought to you by One Power Sports. Make sure to go visit them at onepowersports.com. Currently, drivers have already started their first flying lap around the circuit to get their times in. What can we say about the championship for this category there, Emery?
Well, this is the first class that we've really seen all weekend where the championship has already wrapped up. Mathematically, Ava Hansen has clinched the title in this category through a strong effort. She has not been off the podium this entire season. Really good, consistent efforts from her, so she'll be in the championship with guarantee, regardless of what she does this weekend. She could have taken the weekend off, but she's still out here. Malachi Haight, Logan Wackerlin, and Jackson Wolney are also in the battle for 2nd through 5th, so they're going to be interesting to watch. But as we go through to complete the first lap of qualifying, Malachi Haight, who we've seen up at the front throughout the season, puts himself at the front of the field as we now wait for the final couple people to come through to finish lap number 1.
Yeah, currently we're waiting on Ava Hansen right now, who's currently yet to set a time here, as we have 8 karts for the 206 Juniors that are getting ready to work their way through to complete their second lap to get that white flag one more time around for your competitors here in the 206 Juniors. Drivers are having a good run. And, of course, like we pointed out, Malachi Haight, currently your pole sitter with a 59.085. He has about a 4/10 of advantage over Nagisa, who is trying to see if he can improve on this here as the white flag is out one more time around.
Yeah, and certainly we're going to have to see what these people can do. Malachi Hay now coming through to reset his fastest time with a 58.670. That's 9/10 clear of the field, although most of them have not come across now. Nagisa Yoshikawa comes through to finish his second lap. He's 5.5 off. Wolney and Wackerlin are going to be the next guys to come across. They're still almost a second off the pace, so a really good pace being set here by Malachi Hayden. It doesn't seem like Ava Hansen's come out on the track. I don't know if that's because she's chosen to sit out this weekend or if maybe she had a mechanical issue or something of those sorts, but certainly a good start to the weekend for Malachi Hayden as we come across to come down to just do one more lap here. So Hayden has about a 5/10 of a second lead, but it looks pretty good for him as he now rounds, I believe that is turn 11, coming through the backside of this course, heading back towards the start-finish line.
And with that, he will work his way towards the front straightaway to try to see if he can set one more flying lap here in qualifying for your 206 Juniors as they work their way across the line. Checker flag in the air for that number 205. He does improve to a 58.485. So we'll wait and see who else crosses the line, see if anyone can improve on their fastest lap. Yawasaka cannot improve. He's 6/10 of a second back with a 59.109. So improves his personal best, but not good enough for the pole. For that, Malachi Haight will receive that A-Max Fast Time Award, of course, in his Nitro kart from West Olives, Michigan. Great racing or qualifying action for him. A great way to kick off this 2020-22 season finale here at the Autobahn Country Club.
Yeah, and again, with Ava Hansen not running in this qualifying, we'll see if she comes out for either of the races, but certainly a good start to the weekend for Malachi Haight. 6/10 clear of the field. We've seen him up on the front row on numerous occasions this year, but I believe this is his first pole award that he has taken. So, Haight, we saw a good result for him up in Dowsman. We saw in Cincinnati at a little bit of issues. Now he's off the track, but I don't think it's going to matter because he's fastest on the track. He's fastest on the timing screens by almost 6/10, and obviously they've completed all 3 laps, but that's going to be interesting to watch. I'm not sure what happened there, but certainly interesting stuff for the number 205 Nitro kart driver.
Yeah, very interesting in qualifying to see, so we'll have to find out if he was able to get that kart fixed and rejoin the circuit. As checker flag is out, it is official for Malachi Haight. He will receive that A-Max Pole Award. And as he gets himself set up for this action, we are going to take another commercial break. But when we come back, it will be none other than the Mini Swifts out on track. The Mini Swifts brought to you by DNG International Services. You're watching Kart Chasers coverage of the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series Championship finale from the Autobahn Country Club.
Kart Store USA is a kart parts supplier that racers and retailers can count on when they need reliable advice and service. We focus on servicing all racers with honesty and pride while maintaining customer satisfaction. We carry a full stock of Kart Republic and Tony Kart chassis, as well as IAMI and Vortex Rock engines. We've also got a host of other parts available and in stock, such as products from Rev Performance Materials, Jecco Racing Seats, and more. We have a 100% satisfaction guarantee, and on top of that, if your order exceeds $200, shipping is on us. Check out all we have to offer today by visiting us online at kartstore-usa.com.
Maryland USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parolin Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParolinUSA.com. If you're looking for top-grade equipment, look no further than Rev Performance Materials, engine mounts, sprockets, and arcade chains. Available online now at RevPerformanceMaterials.com and through a dealer near you. The highest quality material, built to the highest quality standards. Rev Performance Materials.
Welcome back to Kart Chasers coverage of the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series Championship finale here from the Autobahn Country Club. Taylor Burris here along with Emery Lida as we are still underway with qualifying as the IAME Mini Swifts are out on the track, brought to you by DNG International Services. Make sure to visit godng.com for more information. And Emery, what can you tell us a little bit about the championship for the Mini Swifts out on circuit?
Yeah, this is probably the closest championship battle we're going to see here at the Route 66 Sprint Series finale here, presented by Hoach Driver Development. You've got 4 drivers in with a realistic shot at winning the championship. As we look at the Mini Swift category, coming around to complete their first lap of qualifying, and it's Ethan Tovo up at the front of the championship with 969 points after drops, only 3 points ahead of Asin Drumaliv, who was really good up at Cincinnati. He is in with a very real chance of the championship. Benham Abernathy is also not far behind, and Landon Buer, who we already saw take pole in the L206 Sportsman category, is the 4th driver with a shot at the championship. And then in 5th, with somewhat of a chance, is Jackson Tovo, Ethan's brother. He's going to need a lot of help. He needs to win every session like we saw with Nick Terlecki. So 5 drivers with a chance, 4 with a realistic one as we head into the next round.
And, of course, Jackson Tovo is currently setting that pace of trying to see if he can go for a championship, as he currently holds the fastest time in qualifying with a 54.800. He currently has about just shy of a 0.2 of a second advantage over his brother Ethan Tovo, who set at 54.976. Really good qualifying efforts for these drivers here, as, of course, Landon Bureau, who is with MPG, who is currently sitting in 5th position right now, half a second off the pace. He's got to try to find that little extra bit in order to try to go for the pole position.
Yeah, and certainly for Buer, he's the 4th driver in with MPG. He's got a chance now with MPG, but it's certainly going to be one of those things where he's going to have to put something magical together this weekend. But really, Ethan Tovo is the championship leader. He's been the most consistent, maybe not the fastest every round, but it's his brother Jackson kind of leading the way through 2 laps, although his second lap was not as quick as his first. A 54.800, only 600 better than his brother. As they go down, though, it looks like it's going to be close really within all 6 of the drivers that are close to the championship, along with Braden Strachey in 7th. All of the field looks very competitive. So Jackson Tovo up at the front through 2 laps. He needs to qualify and pole to keep his championship hopes alive. He's doing that so far as they come around to complete their final lap of qualifying here.
Checkered flag is about to be in the air for Jackson and Ethan Tovo to end this qualifying session here. Currently, your top 6 separated by 0.6 of a second currently right now. Great drive for all your competitors as they come across the line. Ethan Tovo does not improve on his lap time. Landon Buer does pick up a little bit, but not enough for the pole position. Jackson Tovo comes across the line as well as we wait to see who else will be able to improve. We still have 2 more karts out on the track as they work their way through and still seeing who else is left. I think everyone currently has finally completed their qualifying attempts. Jackson Tovo will be your AMAX Racing Fast Time Award winner, of course, in the IAME Mini Swift powered by DNG International Service. Make sure to go visit godnj.com for more information. So we'll see here what will happen with Tovo as the 2 brothers start on the front row.
Yeah, this is not something that we have We've seen this a lot over the last year or so now with Ethan and Jackson Tovo. Ethan up at the front of the championship. Jackson's been competitive, though. Had a feature race win up at Cincinnati. He's going to be one to watch as now we get ready for the Briggs 206 medium category. That is one that does not have a championship battle, as Adam Maxwell has already clinched the championship, looking very, very relaxed on the grid as he gets set to go to try to pick up yet another AMAX Fast Time Award this season.
And while the drivers are getting themselves set up, ready to go, we are going to take another commercial break. But when we come back, we will have the qualifying for the 206 mediums powered by Millwright Incorporated. We are watching the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series Championship finale only on Kart Chasers.
Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule has support available at all levels, from club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the TKNA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the Scooter Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there.
I'm Billy Vincent, owner of MPG Motorsports. What we do at MPG is we try to keep it a nice, fun family atmosphere, try to combine sort of the bigger things and of the bigger teams and the professionalism down with sort of some of the fun sort of family-oriented atmosphere. We try to not only develop drivers, but also the parents and the families for just in knowledge in general in motorsports. It all starts in karting. What we try to do is try to help the drivers, the moms, the dads understand the sport of motorsports in general, not just karting, but what it takes to get all the way up through. Whether you end up wanting to be a driver or a mechanic or an engineer, you know, we can help you with that, and that's what we're here for. If you're interested in joining us at MPG, our home base is at Whiteland Raceway Park in Indianapolis, and you can contact us at info@willpowerkart.com, and one of our great people will reach out to you, and we'll try to put the best program together.
Odenthal Racing Products, your #1 producer in engine mounts since 1992, along with our leading-edge designs and product development, such as the Odenthal Racing Products EasyGP camera mount, which comes in 4 different styles and can be used on any karting platform. See our products online. Go to odenthalracing.com.
Welcome back to Kart Chasers coverage of the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series Championship finale from the Autobahn Country Club, as we are finishing up with qualifying for your 206 mediums powered by Millwright Incorporated. Adam Maxwell currently sets the fast time right now of a 58.213. Connor Faishing currently holds second. Harbor Doss, who we saw last time over at the New Jersey Motorsports Park, is currently holding on to that third position. 6 karts out on the track, but we got to talk a little bit about the championship for the medium category.
Yeah, this is a championship that has already been decided. Adam Maxwell, again, almost perfect this year. Lost out to Mick Gabriel at Newcastle in the first round of the championship, but otherwise it has been a flawless season for the AMAX Racing driver as he now goes fastest again. He's had the measure on his teammate Braden Johnson and as well as his other teammate Jalen Kerr. He's really held off the challenge of anyone else that's joined the category for a one-off, whether it be Alex Feldstein up at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati or anyone else. And now he's going to have to hold off against Connor Fasching and Harbor Doss. But so far through 2 laps, it looks like Adam Maxwell continues to be the class of the field from a pace standpoint. All over 8/10 clears. We now wait for the last couple drivers to complete their lap number 2 and focus in on Maxwell as he comes through towards the back section of the track to go through on his 3rd lap.
Yeah, currently your top 3 separated by just about a second here as the field works their way towards the back half of the course. We're going to see the checkered flag out in the air for Adam Maxwell. You see, for those of you who are watching on Kart Chaser, working his way through the final few corners, approaching towards turns 12 and 13 and 14. Really steady line right now as he works his way through the back half of the course, as he will head down across the start-finish line, and he will improve his fastest lap, a 57.8 8-1, really flying out there as we wait for the rest of the field. Connor Fashing currently tries to come across the line. Harbor Doss comes across. He does not improve his lap time at 58.907. Braden Johnson picks up a little bit of time. Connor Fashing does improve his lap time, but still 0.8 of a second separates him from the pole sitter of Adam Maxwell, as he will receive your AMAX Racing Fast Time Award for his run. Of course, Adam Maxwell in the number 141 MGM from Greenwood, Indiana, setting up a great start to just have a little feather in his cap for the championship.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost fitting for Adam Maxwell to win the AMAX Racing Fast Time Award. He's done it a lot this season in the Briggs category. He's now done it twice in the KA category as well, as he won pole earlier. So for him, he's going to start up front for both of his races as we head into the final few qualifying sessions here at Autobahn. And certainly for Maxwell, this has been a dominant championship. He's 0.8 clear of the field here in qualifying. I mean, when it comes to the 206 stuff, it's hard to argue that anyone has done any better than what Adam Maxwell has so far this season.
Could not agree with you more here as we are about to see the next category.
Attention in the paddock. There's a white BMW X5 and a gold Ford.
As we'll still continue action here, we are going to see the next category out on the circuit. The IAME Micro Swifts are going to be coming out on circuit for qualifying, powered by Quick Swim. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we will have, of course, the next category out on track as they are actually pulling off right now to set up their first laps as the Micro Swifts are working their way through.
Yeah, so looking now at the Micro Swift category sponsored by Quick Swim. This has been a category that has been dominated by Cameron Marcia over the course of the season. He's another one that's already clinched the championship, but it's been a fun last couple rounds. He lost his perfect season in the first round at Cincinnati to Jacob Majeski, another driver who's been on the podium quite a bit this season. Majeski's the closest challenger in the championship and was second fastest. But now 16 drivers strong here in the Micro Swift category by Quick Swim. Got names like AJ Stoner, like Colton Horter. They've challenged Marcia at every point this season, but it has been Cameron Marcia by far and away the dominant force as we see him coming out to the track to complete his warm-up, and now we focus in on Jacob Majeski as well.
Yeah, great group of drivers here. Of course, this category is drivers we'll see ages ranging from 7 to 10 years old out on the track, so this is going to be an exciting battle to see how this will come out here at the Autobahn Country Club here in Illinois as the field gets ready to take the green flag for their first run here, as one driver will come across the line, set their first lap. That's the number 22 machine who comes across the line first, as that will work their way through. Going to be seeing some great lap times here, hopefully, as they work their way down. One of the things we have to keep in mind is with these long straightaways is a little bit of the drafting that's going to come into play. How important is it to keep that momentum as well as keeping to the back bumper of these competitors going to be crucial for your drivers here today, Emery?
Yeah, the draft is really important pretty much everywhere you go in karts outside of real bull ring tracks, but here especially, you've got the long straightaway down to turn one. That's going to be a real place for drafting to play an important part. And then in general, this track has a lot of straight space. Even if there's tight sections, there's also sections leading up to them that have straightaways where you can gain a benefit. And so maybe not so much in qualifying where Route 66 does a great job of spacing the drivers out, but especially when we get in the pre-final and the final, you're going to want to have a draft to be able to catch up to the karts in front of you and possibly to pull away. You're going to need 2 or 3 karts helping be able to pull a gap to the rest of the field. And in this class, Cameron Marsh has done a good job of checking out this season. We've already seen him up at the front in Quick Swim Micro Swift at the first lap of this qualifying. But it's going to be interesting to see if the other guys can kind of work together to be able to upset him in this race weekend.
Yeah, currently 16 karts are out there on the circuit. Of course, Marcia is your pole sitter with a 55.965. He had the 0.2 of a second advantage over A.J. Stoner with a 56.179. Isaac Nolan will round out your top 3 as the field continues to work their way through. They're going to receive the white flag one more time around for your competitors here as they work their way across the start-finish line to set themselves flying down. And Marcia does improve to a 55.596. Jacob Majeski will move up to P3. He will improve his lap time, waiting to see if A.J. Stoner can respond. He does not pick it up. He does move up a little bit to the 55-second bracket with a 55.715 as Tucker Trebe also moves up to P3 with that. As we have one kart off, that's the 81 machine of Adrena Rowe, who is going to be parked out there looking to see where that is out on the circuit. I believe it's towards the back half of the course over there by turns 12 through 14.
Yeah, so Rowe was in the 8th position and aboard the Merlin cart, so that's going to be a tough end to her qualifying. Certainly someone that's had relatively decent pace in this category all season long, but at the front of the field is still Cameron Marsh as he finished his second lap going to the top with a 55.596. AJ Stoner in second, and then it's a big gap back to Truck Retrieve in third. Jacob Majeski in fourth as Marsha finishes his last. We saw him come across the line at 55.4 as we now wait for everyone else to come across. Can anyone beat that time of Cameron Marsha? Again, a lot of time to the rest of the field outside of AJ Stoner. Stoner cannot improve, and so it looks like, don't want to jinx it, but Cameron Marsha is going to pick up yet another pole and another 10 points to this championship tally.
We'll wait to see some of our drivers who are inside the top 10 to work their way across the line. The one driver who will not be will be Audrina Rowe, as she is parked over there by turns 13 and 14 as the field works their way through. But it's safe to say Cameron Marsha will be your AMAX Racing Fast Time Award winner. Of course, from Granger, Indiana, having a great run here. It's a great way to kick off the weekend. Set some fast times in practice earlier today, and then, of course, come out with the Fast Time Award powered by AMAX Racing as the field works their way through to cool down and get things ready to go. We're going to take another commercial break, but when we come back, it will be the KA 100 Junior category who will be coming out, powered by Advanced Design Studios. You're watching Kart Chasers.
How you doing? My name is Mike Doty from Mike Doty Racing from Orange County, New York. We're about an hour north of New York City. We're a full-service kart shop that we supply IAME, Rotax, and all rock engines. We sell OTK parts and all the tires for all the different series. We support USBKS, SCUSA, Rotax, which is the Stars and Stripes, and the Rock Winter Tour. What we do is we try to get the drivers better by data, driver coaching, and setup. We have a lot of good drivers that come through our program. We have a lot of experience. I've been doing it for almost 35 years, and we just try to translate that to all our customers.
For more info about Mike Doty Racing, you can contact us at mikedotyracing@gmail.com or call us at 845-551-0572.
Welcome back to Kart Chasers coverage here of the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series from the Autobahn Country Club. Taylor Burris here along with Emery Ladia, who we are covering the final few rounds of qualifying. Currently out on the track is the IAME KA 100 Junior category, powered by Advanced Design Studios. Visit advanceddesignstudios.com for more information. And Emery, we got to talk a little bit about the championship as well for this here. A lot of drivers looking forward to seeing this category out on the circuit here this weekend.
Yeah, this championship battle is really interesting because, as I was mentioning earlier, Ava Hansen already clinched the championship in the Briggs 206 Junior category. Unfortunately, I didn't know this at the time, but she has suffered an injury off track and will not be present. But she has a substitute driver this weekend. So Cameron Brinkman is here to nurse her 8-point championship lead over Austin Olds, as well as Henry Wheeler in the MPG Motorsports duo. They're going to be in championship contention, but Brinkman's going to have a lot of work to do for Hansen be able to win. And for anyone that doesn't know, Cameron Brinkman has already won on the Route 66 Sprint Series this year up at Badger. So he's clearly a capable driver. And as we come around to see the drivers complete their first warm-up lap and their first lap of qualifying, Austin Olds and Henry Wheeler both coming through to finish their first lap. It's going to be interesting to watch because as we get set to finish the rest of this championship with a substitute driver, that really changes the complexion of things.
It certainly is. We saw, of course, Austin Olds over at New Jersey last couple of weeks ago there, and he put on a great performance for him. But as we see the field work their way across the line for their first flying laps, Henry Wheeler is your pole sitter currently with a 53.102. He has about a 10th advantage over Quinn Mcpherson, who holds on to second. Cash Perkins, then Austin Olds, and Ava Dobson, who rounds out your top 5 currently as the field works their way through to complete their second lap. Who are some of the drivers that we're going to keep an eye out for? Of course, besides our championship competitors as well, but who have been one of those ones this season who made maybe some of the most improvements since the start of the season for Route 66?
Yeah, well, one of the guys that really comes to mind for me is Cash Perkins, who's up in 4th. He had a podium run, I believe, up at Badger a couple of races ago. And Perkins has been someone his first year in the junior category, maybe a little bit tentative at times, as he now jumps himself up to 2nd on his second lap, now down to 3rd as Quinn Mcpherson takes the pole. That's another guy, Quinn Mcpherson, another one who has had a good season so far. He's another guy to watch. He was up at the front, up at Cincinnati, did not have the results to back it up per se. But certainly for both of those guys, it's going to be interesting to watch is Cash Perkins. Can he get himself up to the top of the timing charts? But certainly Cash Perkins, as well as that Ava Dobson's another one that's been in the junior category for a while now. She's sort of been waiting for that breakthrough. But as we get through to in lap number 2, it's Lucas Klimak in the number 27 cart, as well as Quinn Mcpherson in second position, Henry Wheeler, Cash Perkins, Jackson Mooney, all of them within 2/10. So this is going to be a critical final lap of qualifying gear.
Very critical indeed as Austin Olds comes across the line for the final lap with a 52.650. We'll wait to see who is able to maybe try to beat him. Cash Perkins, we just talked about him, moves up to the top of the leaderboard with a 52.436. As we wait for a couple of other drivers work their way through, Jackson Maloney will not improve. Ava Dobson moves up to P7 after moving up to a 52.956. Gian Bufamonte moves into P10. As the field works their way through the last little bit here as qualifying for your KA100 Juniors, powered by, of course, the Advanced Design Studios. Make sure to visit them at advanceddesignstudios.com. But for Cash Perkins from Granger, Indiana, will work his way up to the top of the leaderboard. A great drive for him in this qualifying run as he will win the AMAX Racing Award.
Yeah, Cash Perkins, again, a driver on the Merlin cart. We've been waiting to see him break through at the junior category. He's shown a lot of raw pace at times this season. The Wisconsin native on the Merlin, racing for Franklin Motorsports. Will he be able to finally put the pace together? He's off to a nice start. He gets 10 bonus points for being on pole, winning the AMAX Fast Time Award. He's got a lot of hungry drivers behind him, whether it be Austin Olds and Henry Wheeler in the championship, Quinn Mcpherson trying to right some of the mistakes he made up at Cincinnati, or even people like Braden Zerves and Ava Dobson who've had a little bit of a struggle this season. So it's going to be interesting to see what Perkins can do, but he's starting the pre-final off on the right foot in the KA100 Junior category, sponsored by Advanced Design Studios.
Of course, the next class of karts out on the track is the IME KA100 Masters. They are, of course, their final qualifying run as they are about to go out on the track. Of course, they are brought to you by Franklin Douglas Glasses. Visit franklin-douglas.com as we are getting ready to go for them as the karts are now entering onto the track here. A great group of drivers. Let's talk a little bit about the championship for the KA Masters.
Yeah, well, this one's actually an interesting one because in theory, it looks like a close battle between Christian Vormier as well as Roman Padans, but in reality, it's actually the number 82 of Laurencio Mardan who has a really good shot at the championship because he's shown up this weekend. He was dominant in the early part of the season in the KA100 Masters category, winning every single race in the first 4 rounds, did not show up to Cincinnati, and he's going to lose out on the 22-point bonus that Route 66 awards to every driver that completes every round of the championship. So he's got that to work through, but on paper, it looks like he is going to be at the front of the championship because no one else is within 100 points of him in drops, and he's shown a lot of pace all year long. So Mardan doesn't have a clinch per se. He still has to go through and finish both races well, but it looks like he's in a good spot to get the championship.
And that's something to think about, you know, making every single race this season, you get that additional 22 bonus points. No matter where you finished each and every race this season, as long as you attended all 4 rounds, you had the chance to earn those 22 bonus points. How important is maybe that for some of those drivers who maybe struggled during some points or another during the season, but yet are able to capitalize since they made every race compared to those who maybe missed 1 or 2 rounds?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good advantage. I mean, I will say that most of the drivers that are going to be contending for a championship are going to want to do every round anyways just to make sure that they give themselves the chance to make a mistake and still drop it. But certainly, I mean, it is important. In those championship battles that come down to the last 15 or 20 points, being able to get a 22-point bonus just for showing up is critical. And for Mardan, he doesn't have that award per se, but he still has a lot of raw plays. He's someone that's been around the series for a long time on the techno kart, as well as Christian Vormier. And I mean, he's been really fast this season. But for the rest of the guys like Vormier and like Padans, they have the chance now with those extra 22 points to still be in this championship battle should Mardan slip up or maybe have some kind of technical infringement. So 22 points, very valuable, although in this class it looks like the guy that doesn't get those 22 points still looks to be the favorite for this title.
Well, currently right now it is Mardan who goes up to the top of the leaderboard with a 52.879. Vormier goes up to second place with a 53.26. And as the rest of the field works their way through, Jeff Bays rounds out your 6-car field. Field separated by about just under 1.5 seconds. So there is some speed left for some of these drivers, especially for Roman Pandans and, of course, Randy Klimek, who is sitting in 3rd and 4th position.
Yeah, both of those guys have been sort of on the back end of the podium throughout the season. We saw up in Cincinnati, it was the Kutcher brothers who are not here that dominated the weekend. Here's Randy Klimek and Roman Padans. They were in 3rd and 4th through most of the weekend, as well as Christian Vormier. They're going to have a lot of pace, though, to make up, because at the moment, Mardan continues to set a really good pace. No one's within half a second as they can now go through to continue their second lap. We'll see what Vormier can do. He's half a second off as well as Randy Klimek. So Mardan, I mean, he has been the pace setter throughout the season, along with Danny Corcoran up at Badger. But other than that, it's been Mardan, and it looks like the challenging pack is going to have a lot to do to be able to keep up with him.
They certainly do, as Pandan's now moves up to P2 with a 53.107, but still 0.3, make it 0.4 of a second, separating him from Mardan for the pole time here as the field works their way through. We're going to be seeing the checkered flag in the air for that number 82 of Mardan's as he tries to see if he can improve a little bit even further on his lap time to give him a little bit more of a cushion as he comes out of turn number 14 across the line. He does improve a 52.658 as we wait for the rest of the field to work their way across the line. As we'll see now the 21 machine of Chris Serdenk, who is currently sitting P5. Christian Vormier will stay in P3, does not improve on his time as well as the field works their way across the line. Serdenk does not improve either. Jeff Bays going to stay in P6. And we're looking to see that is everybody. So, of course, for Mardan, he will receive the AMAX Racing Fast Time Award with a 52.658. And with that, qualifying is all done. It's time that we set the field and get ready for the pre-finals for the action to kick off here once again. 10-lap shootout for all these categories here today. What could we expect a little bit before we get started with these pre-finals?
Yeah, this track is going to be interesting to see how difficult it is to race on. We've seen in the past drivers that have a good pace advantage on this layout have all the opportunities. There's a lot of places to pass, but as I mentioned earlier, on the tight section of the track, you're going to have to make passes and sacrifice time. So for guys like Cameron Brinkman in the KA Junior category having to go up through the field, maybe in KA Senior as well, those big classes, you're going to have to see the risk versus reward sort of statement coming into play in the pre-final. But up at the front, I'm going to be looking to see just how much people are willing to work with each other in the pre-final, because in theory, this is a category, or this is a track layout where the draft could be very important. And so seeing this Briggs 206 Sportsman category getting set to go out on the track, getting ready on the grid, we'll have to see how this goes, because certainly using the draft, being patient in the pre-final might be the way to go in these smaller categories.
It certainly is the case, but with that, we are going to take a commercial break. But when we come back, it'll be time for the pre-finals. 206 Sportsmen are about to go out onto the circuit. You are watching the 2022 season finale of the Route 66 Sprint Series from the Autobahn Country Club, live here on Kart Chasers.
Perelin USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Perelin Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at PerelinUSA.com.
Welcome back to Kart Chasers coverage of the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series live from the Autobahn Country Club here in Joliet, Illinois. Taylor Burris here along with Emery Lida as we are here for pre-final action. The 206 Sportsman category powered by Perkins All-Star about to take the green flag as we're underway for racing action. Buer and Stoner lead them out into turn number 1 as they work their way out of turn 1, heading through turns 2 up to the top of the hill they will go, and Buer will hold on strong, but a big pressure by A.J. Stoner as he'll look to the inside. He'll complete the pass as they go side by side down the back half of the course, heading into turn number 6. He's got a little bit of help from third place driver of Ezekiel Height, who works his way through down, and now A.J. Stoner in the 420 machine takes over the race lead.
Yeah, already a good start from Stoner now as Landon Buer's going to have to try to find a way back by Brady Shod's worked himself up to P3 in the orange chute. You can see him there pressuring Buer in third. It looks like the top 7 or 8 have already broken a little bit of a gap to the rest of the field now as they come around towards the back half of the track. Towards turn 11 and turn 12 is very tight as we now get set to go to complete lap number 1. It is A.J. Stoner up at the front of the field.
A.J. Stoner coming out of the final few corners to set the first lap here of competition in pre-final action as they work their way across the line. It's Stoner, Buer in second, then it's Brady Shad in third position. Ezekiel has dropped back to fourth with Braden Domont picking up 2 spots as he rounds out your top 5. But how about Evan Benoit? 6 spots since the drop of the green flag. He moves up to P8 as they work their way back into the first up the hill over at turn 2.
Yeah, and already we've seen now the top 6 have broken away from the rest of the field back to Christopher Yutzi in 6th position, and I think that might be all the back half of the top 6, and then outside of that, you've seen a big gap already being started to form, but A.J. Stoner could be continuing to be consistent. He's got the MPG Motorsports car of Landon Buer, a new colorway for him this weekend on the 120 machine. He's right there on the back of A.J. Stoner in the 420 machine. So we'll have to see if those two continue to work together. Brady Shaw, who's been very fast all season long, is in third position and looks to be trying to keep up with them as they head now towards the front straightaway to complete lap number 2 of this race.
Currently is Stoner and Buer. Buer sets the fastest lap of the race right now as they work their way out of turn number 1, heading through turn 2. They'll climb up the hill through turn number 3 right now. Shad is currently trying to close the gap. It's a little bit squirrely out as they go down the hill through turn 3 and 4. And as they work their way through there, you see your top 3 now as Stoner has broken away from Buer here this time by. This opens the door for them to get a set up a run. And as they work through the middle section of the course, that twists and turns of turn 8, 9, and approaching over towards turn number 10. There you see the look behind of Stoner trying to see where his competitors are to set up for a good run out of turn number 10 and over to 11.
Yeah, Stoner has been in this game a little while now at the front of the L26 Sportsman category. He knows that it is not likely for him to be able to break away, so he's just going to have to manage the race, not make any mistakes that let them pass. And on the other end, you've got Landon Buer already made one mistake on the front part of the lap. He's now in second. He continues to push Stoner, and you see them now starting to create a little bit of a gap to the third place man of Brady Shaw. That last lap, they were a little bit quicker than him. But really, it's those two. You've got Ezekiel Haight going purple to 58.438. And now it's the front fours. Now we see a pass for the lead. It's Landon Buer gets himself up front. And now Brady Shaw gets himself by A.J. Stoner. And it looks to be Ezekiel Haight getting up into third as well. So the top 3 already getting themselves by A.J. Stoner, who went from first to fourth in the span of only about 3 corners.
He certainly is. A big mistake there for A.J. Stoner as they work their way through the chicanes of turns 8 and 9 as they make the run over to turn number 10, that long sweeping corner before they head to the short chute of the hairpin of turn number 11. There you see Landon Buer holding strong in the 120 machine. He gets a little bit of a push from Brady Shad there as they work through the final few corners of turn 11 and 12 before they come to the sweeping corner of 13 and 14. And we watch on as A.J. Stoner has fallen quite a ways back from your top 3 as they come out of the final corner across the start-finish line here. It's going to get exciting to see here as a big push right here. We see now Brady Shad back off a little bit to try to see if he can get a push from Ezekiel Haight, who is currently sitting in third, to see if they can push and catch up to Landon Buer.
Yeah, the front 6 and 7 now all within 1.3 seconds. That last lap really bunched everyone up with A.J. Stoner falling himself all the way down to fourth. It looks like he's struggling to keep up with that top 3 now a little bit and has fallen into the clutches of Braden DeMont in P5. But now as we now look towards the chute, towards turn 8 and turn 9, it looks like it's Landon Buer and Rachel. Oh, we got a crash on the backside of the track. I believe that is the number 5 machine of Evan Benoit. He was running in the back half of the top 10, as well as that might have been Caleb Johnson as well. Both of them getting tied up there. But at the front of the field, it continues to be Buer in the MPG Motorsports 120. He's got help from Brady Shaw, who seems to be very patient in this race. If you recall back to the Cincinnati race up in Mini Swift, he showed a little bit of impatience there, and that got him into trouble. So now at this Briggs Cadet race, as we go to halfway, it continues to be Buer and Shaw up at the front.
Crossing over to the halfway point of today's action for the pre-finals for your 206 Sportsmen, of course, powered by none other than the Perkins All-Star as they work their way through turns 3. You still see Buer holding strong with the race lead. Shad is currently trying to hold on to second place as they work together. Your top 3 has separated by about 2 kart lengths over A.J. Stoner in 4th position. He has help from Braden Dumont and Christopher Utsi, who round out the top 6 as they work over to the hairpin of turn number 9. Into the braking zone they go. Out of turn 9, Buer stretches it out by about a kart length over the 65 of Brady Shad as they come through turns 10, down the short chute over towards turn 11.
Yeah, just still working together, but they're not able to pull away from the rest of the top 7, who have a 6.7 second gap on the rest of the field. So certainly Landon Buer trying his best to lead the field. Is now Brady Shaw coming into turn 14. You don't often see a pass there. And as they come down the front straight, he's going to set up a side-by-side situation. Looks like Ezekiel Hate's going to follow through on Brady Shaw and make a freight train to the inside of Landon Buer. So that little aggressive move there by Brady Shaw maybe caught Landon Buer off guard a little bit, and he leads a train all the way down to 3rd place, and A.J. Stoner getting themselves up by Landon Buer. So he had led the race for a good portion of the action, and now he's going to have to work his way up through the field from 4th position.
How about that textbook pass right there, utilizing the slingshot out of turn 14? We could be seeing that here all throughout the day, but a great passing opportunity as we now see Brady Shad lead the charge out of turn number 9 as they over towards turn 10. Ezekiel Haight now, will he try to capitalize? He may not make the pass right now at this moment, but he has that now in the back of his mind that he could possibly set up a pass here in the closing laps in these pre-final events as the field works their way through turns 12 and 13 as they work their way through that sweeping corner of 13 and 14. The 65 machine of Brady Shad comes out of 14, picking up 3 spots so far already as he will lead this lap once again. And here comes one of those drivers, A.J. Stoner now. He's going to send it to the inside, move him to P2. Will Ezekiel capitalize? No, not this time around as he gives a wave of a hand now, and he'll lose another spot, this time to Landon Buer. He'll now fall back to P4.
Yeah, certainly we're seeing the action pick up here. A.J. Stoner being aggressive on a move into turn 1, and it looked like maybe Ezekiel Haight could have made a move to the inside of Brady Shaw, chose to stay in line, and that caught him out. As there's a saying in the industry, pass or be passed, and that is certainly coming true here in the Briggs 206 Cadet race. We've seen Brady Shaw establish himself up at the front of the field, and now you've got a big pack of carts behind him just working together. We'll see how much time they have. They've got 3 laps to go. Stoner signaling to Landon Buer to help him catch back up to Shot as now that they come through the backside of the track. You can see visibly he's already closed back up since when he made that pass on Ezekiel Hay at the start of the lap. He's now getting himself back up in battle, and as they come now to get the 2 laps to go signal, it's going to be a tight race up at the front with 5 carts in contention.
Popsicle sticks in the air 2 laps ago, and we already got a now pass for the race lead as we see Stoner now take over. Crossover move as they climb the hill. How about 3 wide racing action as they come through the top of turn 3? How about that beautiful pass as Buer, I believe, will take over that race lead as they're still jockeying for positions a little further back, heading over into turn number 6. They'll send it on down, and now we'll see a little further back another pass for position. We will see, I believe that's going to be Braden Dumont moving up to P5 as they head to the hairpin of turn number 9. It's going to be, of course, Buer, Stoner, Shad trying to work their way through as they come through turns number 10, heading toward the short chute of turn 11. Great racing action here in your pre-finals.
Yeah, Brady shot a nice move. He got past initially, but made himself back up into turn 2, got a little bit of a switchback move, and into turn 3, took it 3 wide on A.J. Stoner and on Landon Buer. He now reestablishes his point as they come down to the white flag. It's going to be Shad and Stoner leading the field, come to the white.
White flag in the air for the pre-finals, and we're going to have a pass for position. A.J. Stoner goes to the outside. He'll take over the race lead. Brady Shad will stay in second place, crosses over to the inside again as they still jockey for position. Bueller, as well as also in the mix, Height in the mix as well. 4 carts work their way through turn number 6 as they work their way through, and keeping an eye on A.J. Stoner as well as also Landon Buer. They'll work their way through turns 6 and 7 as they come over to turn number 8 through the little chicane, and then in the hairpin of turn 9. They start to jockey for positions even more so. Through turn 10, they're making the run over tour. It's going to be, of course, Buer, Stoner, Shad, and Height, your top 4 as a battle for position. Who will set up the pass out of turn 13 and 14? We're about to find out here as they work their way through turn number 11 and 12. It's still going to be Buer and Stoner holding strong as they work through turn number 13. And now could we see the pass set up again out of 14? So far, nobody's close enough as they come to the line. Checkered flag in the air. It's going to be Stoner with the race win in the pre-finals.
Outstanding job there by AJ Stoner. Was patient, waited all the way to the run to the finish line, was able to get that slingshot. We've talked all weekend about how the run out of turn 14 sets up for a good drafting opportunity, and AJ Stoner made the most of it. He beats out Brady Schad, Landon Buer in 3rd, Ezekiel Haight in 4th, and Christopher Utsi in 5th. But man, that whole front group was very exciting throughout the race. It's going to be a fun final to watch here as we get set for later in the day.
It certainly is. What a great race here for none other than your 206 Sportsman, brought to you by Perkins All-Star. Visit PerkinsAllStars.com for more information. But with that, if that's what the 206 Sportsman provides, I can only imagine what the rest of the day provides, as we are going to take a quick commercial break. But when we come back, it will be the IAME KA 100 seniors out on track for their pre-final race. You are watching the 2022 season finale of the Route 66 Sprint Series from the Autobahn Country Club, only on Kart Chasers.
USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parolin Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParolinUSA.com.
Welcome back to Kart Chasers coverage of the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series live from the Autobahn Country Club. It is the IAME KA 100 seniors out on the track right now. Of course, brought to you by Wolters Racing Engine. Visit WoltersRacingEngines.com for more information. And it is Adam Maxwell who is going to be on the pole position, with Alexander Kardashian in 2nd, Brandon Lemke 3rd, Mick Gabriel 4th position. 5th position will be Austin Jers with Nicholas Terlecki 6th position. Josh Hotz is going to be in 7th with Garcia Redzan in 8th position. Reyes Liberante in 9th, and Carmen Cass rounds out your top 10.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting pre-final. Again, you've got Brandon Lemke and Austin Jers really close in the championship. They start 3rd and 5th, but it's Adam Maxwell in the AMAX Racing. We just saw his teammate AJ Stoner put it on P1 for the final in the Briggs 206 Sportsman category. Now Maxwell's going to get set to lead them up to the green flag.
Field working their way out of turn 13 and 14 as they approach the start zone. Flagman shows them to get ready for the action here as they come out of the final corner into the start zone they'll go. Green flag is out as we're underway for pre-final action for your KA100 seniors as they work their way down into turn number 1. Drivers already jockeying for position here as Maxwell tries to hold on, a little bit of bumping and banging as they climb the hill of turn 3.
Yeah, this is a very chaotic start here as they look down towards turn 4 and 5. You see really bunch up together, but it's Adam Maxwell and Alexander Kardashian working together to start out this race. You've got Lemke in 3rd. Looks like Austin Jers has made up a place into 4th. Maybe not, but now as you come into the back section through turn 9, again, Maxwell continuing to lead from Alexander Kardashian. Lemke, though, has driven himself up to the back half of that top 2, and now it is a 3-car breakaway at the front as they head back towards the skid pad section.
Heading through turns 11 and 12 is still Maxwell, Kardashian, and Lemke as they continue to do battle for position. Out of turn 13 and 14, they're going to come out across the line. Who will lead lap number 1? It's looking quite strong, possibly to be, of course, Adam Maxwell as they cross the line, and it's going to be Maxwell. Kardashian try to make a pass. He will send it in turn number 1, move him up to P1. Lemke 3rd, Gabriel, and then Terlecki rounds out your top 5 as they climb the hill over at turn number 3, and we see Maxwell back out in front as they dive down the hill through turns 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, now has brought back up Mick Gabriel into the top 4. We've seen him up at the front wherever he's gone this season. Those top 4 working together. Now Lemke is up into 2nd. He's gone by Kardashian. Maxwell continuously did not take no for an answer as he got right back by Kardashian after Kardashian passed him in turn 1. Looking behind them, though, Nick Terlecki as well as Austin Jers working together in 5th and 6th. If there's any more battling at the end of this lap, that might bring them back into the lead group. But Lemke looks poised to make a move on Maxwell coming down to the end of this lap.
Working out of turn 13 and 14, we see Maxwell and Kardashian, your 2 top favorites here, currently lead the charge as they come across the line. And we see the 901 machine of Lemke now. He'll look to the inside, move him up to P1. Will Maxwell respond as they climb the hill over to turn 3? He will not be able to this time as Lemke will lead the charge down the hill heading into turn 4.
Yeah, Brandon Lemke worked his way to 2nd at the start of the last lap, worked his way up to the lead at the start of this lap, and now he's brought Alexander Kardashian with him. Those are 2 experienced veterans of the series. But for Kardashian, he knows if he wants this championship, he's got to find a way to move Brandon Lemke back in the field. So this is going to be interesting to see how he plays this out. As now we see a spin in the backside of the track. That looks to be Gio Cardone potentially in the MPG Motorsports car. He is way back there. But in the meantime, Lemke continuing to lead from Kardashian. Terlecki is up to 3rd position, getting back out of Maxwell. He might not be in championship contention, but he is in race winning condition now as the top 2 have broken away. But Terlecki sets his sights on Kardashian and Lemke.
That's one of the things we also need to talk about here as they rocket their way down into turn 1. It's Lemke, Kardashian, and Terlecki, your top 3. Even though some of these drivers may not be in contention for a championship, to still come out on top as we got a passing for position here for that 4th spot between Maxwell and Austin Jers. It's still great to try to round out the season with that win.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, at this point, there's only 3 guys with a chance at the championship, so everyone else in this front battle is racing for pride. Mick Gabriel is another one that has no championship aspirations whatsoever, but he's out here having fun. You got Nick Terlecki now with the pressure lifted off his shoulders. He's trying to come out with the victory like he did up at Cincinnati. But then for guys like Lemke and Kardashian, they know their only shot at the championship is to not crash and not do anything silly. So at the moment, it looks like Lemke's just been able to set the pace up at the front. Kardashian's content to work with him, but they're not breaking away at all. You've still got a big pack all the way back down to, it looks like Bryce Mersberger all the way back in about 10th position. Maybe even Grayson Redson in 11th before you have a big gap. So there's still so many positions to be gained and lost here in this pre-final.
Currently, Lemke holds strong with your race lead right now. He has about a 0.2 of a second over Alexander Kardashian. How about Josh Hotz in the number 982 machine setting the fastest lap right now with a 52.592 as the field works their way through the chicane of turn 8 and the hairpin of turn number 9 as they make the short run over to turn 10. They'll now stretch it out just a little bit through turn 11 as they make the short run down there into the braking zone. They'll go, but it's still going to be Lemke, Kardashian, and Terlecki, your top 3, as they set up out of turn number 12 heading to turn 13.
Yeah, it looks like a big amount of battling going on at the backside of the track, the back half of the top 10. Gia Cicero getting way up there in the backside of the track, all the way in, coming through turn 14. And now that's allowed the top 4 all the way down to Austin Jers in 4th position to break away. But Brandon Lemke up in the lead of this race, continuing to be patient. Austin Jers goes purple in 4th. He just passed Terlecki for 3rd now. So that top 4 that's been up at the front all championship season long is running up. As now we see the 38 machine is out of the race. That looks to be, I'm not sure exactly who that is. We'll get a name on that in a second, but certainly certainly still a very interesting race going on.
That's currently going to be Elias Baker, who will now lose that position, and he will fall out of the race. Currently, your biggest mover of the race so far currently goes to, I just saw him up on the leaderboard at one point. Gio Cardone picked up 5 spots as well at one point. Carmen Cass, one of your biggest losers, in losing 8 spots. Grant Vogel also picking up 8 spots as he's now running inside the top 20 now as the field works their way through across the start-finish line. Lemke, Kardashian, Austin Jers now moves up to P3, getting around Nicholas Terlecki.
Yeah, this is seeing a lot of movement here as Jers was able to get through on to P3 on the last lap. Now, though, it's the top 3 starting to break away from Terlecki. Maybe Terlecki went a little bit high on tire pressures, but now as we see Lemke starting to build a little bit of a gap on Kardashian. This is what he did well last year. He was able to control the races here at Autobahn. And now, Austin Jers, who has been the fastest kart the last couple of laps, being able to catch up to Alexander Kardashian. He knows for him, he's got to match Lemke point for point this weekend. So Jers had a little bit of a difficult qualifying by his standards in 5th, but he's trying to make up that ground now. And it's those top 3 really breaking away from Nick Terlecki, who has a big gap back to Adam Maxwell in 5th.
He certainly does as we watch on through the field as they come out of turn 13 and 14 as they work their way across the start-finish line. Lemke has stretched it out by about 3 kart lengths over Alexander Kardashian. Austin Jers now moves up to P4. How about Race Liberante moving up into P6 and setting the fastest time of the race so far with the 52.110. Terlecki still holds on to 4th, then Adam Maxwell your top 5. As we watch on here, we see your top 2nd and 3rd place drivers of Kardashian and Jers trying to see if they can work together to go and catch Brandon Lemke.
Yeah, Jers was able to get through on Kardashian on the back half of that racetrack to get himself up to 2nd, and now he's only got a couple laps here to work with it, only coming to 2 to go this time around. But if Jers can maintain the pace he's been running, he might have a shot at Lemke here as they come down to finish off this race. So Austin Jers already been a pretty successful pre-final. He's made up 3 spots. He's looked good and fast in the process, but he'll need a little bit more to catch up with the championship leader that he's trying to beat this weekend. As they come down to 2 to go, it's Brandon Lemke with about a 4 or 5 kart length gap over Austin Jers. Alexander Kardashian right in tow in 3rd.
Drivers now 2 laps to go as they climb the hill over at turn number 3. Down the hill they'll go through turn number 4. Lemke comfortably in the race lead right now, 0.6 of a second over Austin Jers as he is trying to see if he can maintain this here. Jers along with Kardashian trying to see if they can work together to close that gap, but they got a lot of work to do here as they continue to work their way out through turn number 9, working over towards turn 10. It's still Lemke holding strong as they come to the short chute over towards turn 11. And watching a little further back, you still have Terlecki trying to hold on in P4 with Adam Maxwell right there hot on his tail as they come through turn number 12 and 13. And as they come out of the final corner, white flag in the air for Brandon Lemke, who will try to lead the charge here to kick off the weekend with a pre-final win as they come across the line.
Brandon Lemke in the Millwright Racing Merlin kart. He has been fast, obviously, this entire season. No stranger to success, but it's been tough for him. He's had Austin Jers on his tail. As they come to the last lap here, it doesn't look like Jers is going to have quite enough pace. In fact, he might be looking behind him as Kardashian's found a little bit of extra pace to fight for the 2nd position. And that's going to be the battle we're focusing on. But behind them, you've got Nick Terlecki continue to hang on against Adam Maxwell. Race Liberante has been really fast in this race, but the top 3 look completely settled. It's Lemke, followed by Jers, followed by Kardashian.
And as they work their way towards the short chute of turn number 11, they'll now make their run now through turn 12. Brandon Lemke absolutely made some beautiful passes in the early stages to get up to the race lead. Once he took it, he never looked back. Out of the final quarter, Brandon Lemke in that 901 machine will cross the line with the pre-final win for your none other than your KA 100 Seniors category, presented by Walters Engines. As the field works their way across the line, it will be Austin Jers 2nd. Alexander Kardashian moves up to P3. Nicholas Terlecki 4th. Adam Maxwell in 5th. Race Liberante 6th. McGabriel in 7th, with Garcia and Rezion in 8th position. Josh Holtz will move up to P9, and Gia Ciceraro will move up to P10.
Yeah, certainly an exciting race, but it ends up with the top 3 being exactly how they are in the championship, actually 4th as well, Nick Terlecki. So really a little bit of a chalky race, but Brandon Lemke, a solid race for him, getting himself up into the lead, extending his championship margin by 5 points. Jers is going to be right there in the final, though. Kardashian's going to have the pace. Terlecki fell off a little bit at the end of the race, but still has the opportunity to get up there and win this one. And then you've got guys further down the field, Race Liberante, Mick Gabriel, Josh Holtz, Gia Cicero. All of them had good pace at various points in this race and will be fun to watch in this final through the back half of the top 10.
With that, we are going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we will be here with your coverage of the Briggs 206 Juniors powered by One Power Sport. You are watching the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series from the Autobahn Country Club, only on Kart Chasers.
Greenemeyer is going to score the final win of the U.S. Pro Kart Series. Hayden Jones is a national race winner. Nate Cicero wins.
Four-time champion Ryan Norberg winning Super Nationals 24.
Winner, winner, winner.
Are you ready to join one of North America's winningest driver development programs? Rollison Performance Group offers fully customizable packages that are meant to take your game to the next level. For more information, head to rollisonperformancegroup.com.
Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule is support available at all levels, from club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the TKNA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the SCUSA Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there.
Coverage of the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series Championship finale from the Autobahn Country Club in Joliet, Illinois. Taylor Burris here along with Emery Lydia here with bringing you all the coverage as we get ready for our third pre-final event. It is none other than the 206 Juniors powered by One Power Sports. Visit onepowersports.com for more information. Emery, we've had a lot of great racing action so far for our first two categories, but this one here is going to be an exciting one to watch, the 206 Juniors. We saw a lot of great action and great storylines in the qualifying leading up to this event here. What can we expect for our pre-final event here?
Yeah, so with Ava Hansen on the sidelines due to an injury, who did win your championship in already and clinched it, it's going to be interesting to see what Malachi Haight can do. He is the fastest kart in the qualifying by almost half a second, a really dominant performance by him. But you've got some other names out there that will be in contention. You've got Nagisa Yoshikawa, had a lot of good pace in practice and qualifying. He'll be one to watch there as well. Jackson Wolney is up there in third position. You got Blake Sarcia in fourth and Logan Macklin. And in general, this Briggs 206 Junior category has seen a lot of drafting action throughout the season. We've seen a lot of really just working together, the top 3 or 4 breaking away from the rest of the field and settling it over the last couple laps. So I expect to see a lot of the same things here. We saw up in Cincinnati, you saw a guy like Jackson Wolney was able to grab a win just being patient the whole race. We'll have to see how that plays out again today.
It certainly is the case here as the field is lined up on the grid. Officials are just making sure everyone's good to go before we let them go out there on the track. Of course, not normally what we see, of course, they cut the course a little bit so that way we can just get to the green flag racing action a lot quicker, which is great to see the officials do that here for this circuit at the Autobahn Country Club. A beautiful 9/10 of a mile circuit that has a lot of great passing opportunities. We just saw beautiful passes coming out of turn 14 for our last two pre-final races, but just a great flowing racetrack that provides a lot of great passing opportunities, but also can punish you if you make those mistakes.
Yeah, certainly. And in the Briggs category especially, this is where it comes into fruition a lot of times, because if you make a mistake, Briggs, it takes a while to get the speed back up in those karts. And so as they get ready to roll off the grid here, it's going to be interesting to watch in this race. A guy like Malachi Haight, who had a lot of pace in the qualifying session, all it will take is one mistake, and he will be right there with the rest of the field. And again, this is a track, the back half of the track, different pavement surface than the other parts of the track. It has a different sort of feel to it with a really tight section. So it's going to be interesting to see how that affects the drivers in racing condition, especially the class as small as this one where every single position matters.
Talk to us a little bit about that, Emery, about the two different conditions of circuit. We have a little bit of a different pavement on one side of the track compared to that other. How does that affect the handling of these karts?
Well, it's really interesting because you don't see that all that often, but here you have kind of the skid pad section, which is fully out of concrete, which is going to have maybe a slicker surface. I'm not exactly sure exactly how the conditions are. It's kind of heard different things for different people, but certainly that's going to play a role in what you can do and how you kind of set up the go-kart. You don't want to just tune it for 2 or 3 corners. You want to try to adjust your driving style and just kind of go with what the kart gives you. And so that could lead to a lack of grip through there. May have to go a little bit tentatively, but as we get set for the start, it'll be interesting to watch how the two drivers handle that.
As we see, Malachi Haight will lead them to the green flag as they are now entering in the start zone to get ready for your 206 Juniors action. Green flag is out as we're underway here at the Autobahn Country Club. Haight will hold on to the race lead as they dive it down into turn 1. Nagasiya will hold on to second place, but as we see, Jackson Wormley will hold on to third as they work their way through the field. Great racing action up at the top.
Yeah, already seeing Malachi Haight just kind of bringing the line to it again. Only 7 karts in this category without Ava Hansen there, so you would expect a little bit of a more cordial start, and that's been the case. As now we look through towards turn 7, 8, and 9 heading up. It looks like Jackson Wolney's found his way up to second position now behind Malachi Haight in the number 205 Nitro kart. He is setting the pace so far. Already you're seeing the top 2 get a little bit of a gap to the rest of the field, but certainly you'll have to see, will they work together, because that will allow them to pull away if they can do it. As now Haight heading through the skid pad section again. A little bit of a different layout, a little bit of a different sort of format to the rest of the track. And as they head towards the end of lap number 1, you're already seeing Haight pulling a gap to Jackson Wolney, who in turn has pulled a little bit of a gap to the rest of the field.
Currently right now, your top 2 has currently held on and pulled away by about a kart length, 3rd and 4th position. Really putting on some great efforts as they work their way back into turn 1. But for none other than Haight, he currently holds on to your race lead by about 3 kart lengths right now as the field works their way up to the top of the hill, then down and over towards turn number 4. We still see Malachi Haight holding strong over the rest of the field as they work their way down the back half of the course, heading over to the chicane of turn number 8.
Yeah, and you can see he's now pulled a gap on Jackson Wolney in 3rd and 4th of Nagisa Yoshikawa and William Lackwin are coming together to catch up to Wolney at the moment. So a good start for Wolney to get himself up into second place, but already you're seeing the raw pace of Malachi Haight has been insane over the practice sessions and in qualifying, and he's been able to get that gap. If he can run a smooth race, he might be able to pull away, which is very rare to see in this 206 junior category.
Currently, Malachi Haight will lead the charge as they come out of the final corner, and then, of course, Wilnoli, and then Yokoshawa, who currently holds on to 3rd position as they come across the line here. Here's a pass for the lead. Jackson looks in as we see Yokoshawa move up to P number 2 now as he gets around Jackson as they climb the hill. How about, of course, Logan Wackerlin, who moves up into P4. He's in the battle for this position here as your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place drivers battle for that 2nd spot of the podium.
Yeah, so this is going to give Malachi Haight all the space he needs. If he didn't already have the raw place, you've now seen Nagisawa Yoshikawa already moving himself up into 2nd on the first part of this lap. Now, though, you've got Wolney. Will he be patient behind in 3rd and just be content to push, or will he try to make himself back up into 2nd? That is a good question, because that is going to be how this race is determined, because if they make any more passing opportunities, that's going to allow Haight to get away even further. Last lap, he was purple by over a 1/10.5. This lap certainly looks to have extended the gap even more, but he's not unbeatable if they can get themselves drafting together and find some extra pace. So going to see how they work together as now come across a complete lap number 3. Haight's going to come across, does not improve on his best lap time, but now the rest of the field behind him only about a 10th or 2 slower. So if they can find a little bit more pace, they might have a shot in this one.
Currently, right now, no other drivers have gained or lost positions except for the 4th place driver of Logan Wackerlin, who holds on after starting in the 5th spot as they work their way towards the back half of the course over by turn number 6 and 7 as they make to the chicane of turn 8 before the hairpin of turn 9. Malachi Haight currently still holds on to the race lead. He was about a 10th off his last time by, but really still setting the pace as they have stretched it out to 0.8 of a second between him and the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place drivers as they work their way down the short chute over towards turn 11. Really great racing action here for Malachi Haight, who still has a dominant performance here today at the Autobahn Country Club.
Yeah, so far Haight has looked to have the pace covered on everyone else on the field. He's still not necessarily pulling away about as quick as you might expect after what he did in qualifying, but still, he's coming across for lap 4, another 59.1. But this time he's matched by 2nd and 3rd of Yoshikawa and Wolney, who also did 59.1. So Haight, again, he's stabilized the gap. They're not gaining on him, but he's also not able to pull away. So one mistake here coming through the back section of the track or wherever, and he will be right back in under pressure from Yoshikawa, from Wolny, and even from Logan Wackerlin in fourth.
Yoshikawa trying to see if he can find a way to try to close the gap between him as with Malachi Haight as they work their way over towards turn number 10, but so far they have not been able to gain any ground whatsoever. They actually lost another tenth of a second on Malachi Haight in the race lead currently right now as they work their way through turns 11 and 12. Through turn 13, they will make the run down as they approaching the halfway point, as we see the flagmen having that showcased here as they come out of turn number 14, and Malachi Haight will receive the halfway point signal as they come through the corner and make their way over into turn 1. Yokosawa still tries to lead in second place with Jackson Wolny in third. Logan Wackerlin holds on into fourth spot.
Yeah, that time around, Malachi Haight, again, reset fastest off of 58.9, but everyone else picked up their pace as well. Yoshikawa and Wolny did 58.9, and Logan Wackerlin did a 59.0. So they're still running a pace that is right there together, but they're going to need something special to catch up with Malachi Haight because he continues to match everything they're doing. And even with all three of them working together, they just do not have the raw pace to be able to catch up to Malachi Haight, who so far in this race has driven flawlessly, has not put a wheel wrong. And if this continues, he will come away from the pre-final with the victory. But there's still almost 5 laps to go as they come through the skid pad section, closer to 4 laps to go.
Coming to 4 laps to go here as we're going to take a look at the timing difference between Haight and Yokosawa as they work their way out of turn number 14. Across the line they will go, and Malachi Haight currently still gains ahead of time. It's now going to be 1.1 seconds between your leader of Malachi Haight and Yokosawa, who still holds on to second place. And really, this is a big gain and a really big break for Malachi Haight, just showcasing the power that he has in that 205 machine just to see what he can be able to do. If he's able to pull away from the rest of the field like this is going to be a very dominant performance by Malachi Haight this weekend.
Yeah, they're going to have to find some extra pace somewhere. I mean, it's not like they're way off because Yoshikawa and Wolny have been able, with the draft, to keep within a couple of tenths of what Haight's doing every lap. But if Malachi Haight doesn't put a wheel wrong, and if he does not make any mistakes, and he can stay up at the front and not get shuffled back on the opening couple laps, it's going to be really hard to beat him because he is not going to be one to make a lot of errors. And if they're continuing to fight for second, that's even worse. But it looks like Jackson Wolny's been content to stay behind Yoshikawa as now Yoshikawa gains a couple of kart links on him as they come down to 3 laps to go, getting another lap on the board again. Haight does a 59.1, Yoshikawa does a 59.1, Wolny does a 59.2, Wacko on a 59.3. So all the top 4 are running close together, but Haight just lap after lap continues to be just slightly quicker and extend his gap even further.
He certainly has here as they work their way towards the back half of the course, climbing the hill as they come out of turn 6, approaching over towards turn 7 before the chicane of turn number 8. Malachi Haight still maintains your race lead by about 1.1 seconds over Yokosawa, and then Jackson Wolny, who holds on your podium positions here for your pre-final action for the KA or Briggs 206 Juniors actions here as we get ready for the rest of the race here as they work their way out of the final few corners of turn 11 and 12. They're going to head over to turn number 13. A little bit of a bobble right there by Malachi Haight, but still managed to maintain and continues to grow the race lead currently as he comes across the line. Popsicle sticks in the air. 2 laps to go for your race leader of Malachi Haight. And as they work their way across the line, they picked up a 10th. So Yokosawa is now 1 second back instead of 1.1.
Yeah, at this point, we're not focused on whether or not they can beat Malachi Haight in this race. They're going to come up short regardless, unless Haight makes a massive mistake that we have not seen all race. But what we're really focusing on is the type of pace that Yoshikawa and Wolny have compared to what Haight can do. And so far, they look to have been to pick up a lot of pace compared to what we saw in the in qualifying. Already, Yoshikawa was quite a ways off of Haight in qualifying. I think almost over half a second. Here in this pre-final, it looks like more like a 10th or 2, and on some laps, we are even seeing Yoshikawa go quicker. So as they come now through the back of the track, getting ready for a white flag, going to be a little bit of an anticlimactic finish here, I believe, unless some crazy mistakes happen. But really, the top 4 have been running all within a few tenths of each other. They're spaced out now. We're going to see as they come down to the white flag what they can do from a time standpoint. Malachi Haight gets the white flag. It's been a dominant performance. A 58.9 again. He drops another 10th on what Yoshikawa does, and another 4 tenths on Jackson Wolny in third.
As they climb the hill over towards turn number 3 before they head down the hill in turn number 4, Malachi Haight continues to lead the charge here in your 206 junior category, powered by One Power Sports, as they work their way out of turn 6, working through turn number 7, out of the chicane of turn number 8, and Malachi Haight just putting on an absolute dominant performance. Yokosawa still holds on to second. He has no pressure from Jackson Wolney in third. It's basically just trying to finish this race out to get ready for the finals later on this afternoon, as they will get on the track a little bit before 4 p.m. here as they work their way out of turn number 11, approaching turn number 12. Malachi Haight will lead the charge here, take on the race lead. He gets the pole position here, and as he comes out of the final corner, checkered flag in the air for Malachi Haight as he will win your 206 junior category, and it sets on the front row once again for the finals action later on this afternoon.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. Between Malachi Haight, Nagisa Yoshikawa, and Jackson Wolney, you have 3 karts that have been pretty close on pace, but they're all going to have to figure out a way to be just a little bit faster, because Haight has the field covered so far. He won the pre-final by a second. He was fastest in qualifying by half a second. And as they head to the final, Malachi Haight has the chance to win his first race this season, to really put a stamp on the end of the season. It's been a season that's been a little bit tough for him. Hasn't been able to come quite close enough to your clinch champion in Ava Hansen. But as we get set for the final couple rounds of Briggs LO206 Junior, sponsored by One Performance, it could be Malachi Haight's weekend here.
It certainly can, and of course we are going to take a commercial break, but when we come back, it is going to be the IAME Micro Swifts, or Mini Swifts, out on the circuit, powered by DNG International Services. You are watching the 2022 season finale of the Route 66 Sprint Series from the Autobahn Country Club, only on Kart Chasers.
Greenemeyer is going to score the final win of the U.S. Pro Kart Series. Hayden Jones is a national race winner. Nate Cicero wins.
4-time champion Ryan Norberg winning Super Nationals 24.
Winner, winner, winner.
Are you ready to join one of North America's winningest driver development programs? Rollison Performance Group offers fully customizable packages that are meant to take your game to the next level. For more information, head to rollisonperformancegroup.com.
Welcome back to Kart Chasers coverage here of the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series from the Autobahn Country Club, as the Mini Swifts are out on the track, powered by DNJ International Services, and the field is working their way through some great racing action here. Of course, the Tovo brothers of Jackson and Ethan will lead them to the green flag here to get the action kicked off for your IAME Mini Swift category.
Yeah, and Jackson and Ethan Tovo have been the dominant forces this entire season, really. Although we've seen us in Dremeliv, as well as Lyndon Buer and Brady Shaw coming close throughout the season, as well as Ben and Abernathy. All 6 of them in attendance this weekend, only 7 total, along with Brandon Saraki, who continues to improve behind the wheel of his number 19 Merlin. But really, this comes down to a critical pre-final here. You've got Jackson Tovo, who again has to stay perfect to stay in championship contention. You've got Ethan Tovo, who leads the championship only by 3 points over Sin Drumlov, Landon Buer, as well, as they get set for the start.
Coming into the start zone, we're waiting for the flagman to have the green flag in hand. Green flag is out as we're underway for the IAME Mini Swifts as they come down. It's going to be the Tovo brothers who go side by side into turn number 1. And as that happens, they're going to allow Jackson Tovo to take the race lead up the hill through turn number 3. They will head down the hill through turn 4. Battle for position between Landon Buer and Asen Dramil, and of course Brady Shad, who leads in the 5th position as they work their way out of turn number 6, heading into turn 7.
Yeah, so already a big gap for the Tovo brothers. We'll see if they work together. We've seen them do both this season. We've seen them work well together at times. We've seen them not work well. So as they come around, we'll have to see what Ethan does and if he's patient with Jackson. But in the meantime, Asin Dremelief has been able to establish himself in third with Brady Schad right behind him in fourth. Or excuse me, that's Lyndon Buer in the MPG Motorsports entry that is now fourth. So certainly the Tova brothers off to a nice start, but this is going to be interesting to watch here because if Ethan and Jackson battle at all, it's going to allow Asin to get back up here. As now they end lap number 1, a little bit of a defensive line down the straightaway for Jackson Tova, but he looks like he's taking the normal line through turn 1, gains a little bit of time, and now Ethan still content to push him as they head down towards turn 3 and continue on lap number 2.
Brady Schad will drop back to the sixth position as Buer and, of course, Dremelief will lead the charge in third and fourth position as they work their way out of turn number 6, approaching through the short chute over to turn 7 before heading into the chicane of turn number 8. Hairpin braking zone of turn number 9. They'll work their way through as the Tovo brothers wait to see what they can do. They want to try to pull away from the rest of the field right now. They have about a 7/10 of a second advantage right now over Dremelief, who holds on in third position. And as that happens, there to the inside, Ethan Tovu moves up to the race lead as he does not want to be behind his brother. He wants to have the chance to lead this race.
Yeah, we've seen them battle throughout the season at various points, and now Ethan decides this is his time in the pre-final. He wants to lead the race. He saw Asin Dremelief about to go purple, and excuse me, that's Lyndon Buer now going purple at 55.3. They had clearly gained a lot of time on that lap, and I think Tovo took a look behind him and said, you know what, it's time to pass Jackson. And as they head now on lap number 3, we'll have to see what Ethan can do from a pace standpoint because Dremelief and Buer are right back in contention, and I believe Landon Buer has found a way by Asin Dremelief on the backside of the track to get himself up into third position now. So head up towards turn number 9. You've got Ethan Tovo leading, Jackson Tovo in second, Landon Buer in third, and Asin Dremelief. Your top 4 in the championship outside of Benham Abernathy, all right up there in contention for this pre-final victory.
Yeah, Abernathy is currently sitting in the 6th position, has lost a ton of time to the race leaders of the Tovo brothers. He's like 2 seconds back currently right now, so that's not the race he needs to have for Abernathy if he wants to have a shot of a championship as they come out of turn number 14 across the start-finish line, and it looks like to be none other than Ethan Tovo who sets the fastest lap, and now we see Buer now look to the inside of Jackson Tovo, move him up to P2, and as those two will battle, Ethan Tovu tries to stretch the lead out by about 2 or 3 kart lengths.
Landon Buer, again, the MPG Motorsports entry back on new colors this weekend, finds himself up in second place. The Darnville, Indiana native is running right up at the front of the field. He has got a lot of pace here on that MPG car. Now, Asin Dremelief gets himself up into third position. So a good run for him now. He's going to get by Jackson Tovo. And for Jackson, he has to stay at the lead of this race to have any shot at the championship. And this has not gone to plan for him. He's got to work his way back up from 4th position as Ethan Tovo continues to lead. And now it's just about finding the rhythm, being able to run him down. We've seen Landon Buer and Asin Dremelief have pace at various points in this race, but they're going to have to find quite a bit more to run down Ethan Tovo in the final 6 laps of this pre-final.
As Asin Dremelief, as we see now working their way down into the turn number 1 now, Ethan Tovo still holds on to the race lead as they work their way through. Landon Buer tries to close the gap now. He's about half a second back from Tovu as we work their way through. Asin still holds on in 3rd position, and then Jackson Tovu holds on 4th. Your biggest loser, losing 3 spots so far. He's got a lot of work to do here as they are getting ready to cross the halfway point of tonight's racing action.
Yeah, and right now it looks like the top 3 are coming back together as we got Landon Buer and Asin Dremelief continuing to run down Ethan Tovo here. Last lap they didn't quite have the pace, obviously making a move on Jackson Tovo, but now they're working together, they're staying patient. Both of them know that to win this championship, to beat the incumbent favorite in Ethan Tovo, they're going to need to help each other initially to keep themselves in that battle, and they've yarded Jackson Tovo in the process. As we come now to get the halfway signal, it's now Ethan Tovo with only a 3/10 of a second lead over Asin Dremelief and Jackson Tovo in 4th. Then behind them, Brady Schad rounds out your top 5, and Benham Abernathy, who came into this race 3rd in the championship, only about 45 points out of contention, is having a nightmare pre-final. He's going to need to find quite a bit of pace because the top 3 are all pulling away. And right now, as we go down to the backside of the track, you've got Asin Dremelief in the back of that train, but Ethan Tovo and Landon Buer at the front 2. Buer has caught Tovo over the last 2 laps and now looks poised to make a move in the next lap or so.
Drummond is trying to see what he can do here in these closing stages as they work their way out of turn number 12, working their way out through turn 13 and 14. Drummond currently trying to see if he can get that momentum, get that cart wound up down the front straightaway as they work their way down through here. You see some of the people, some of the crew members trying to help their driver out there on the circuit as Ethan Tovu still holds on to the race lead. Takes a look back to see where Landon Buer is on the circuit as they climb the hill through turn 3. Back down the hill, they will go through turn number 4 and 5. Drummond currently still looking to see what he can do. He's about 2 to 3 kart lengths behind Landon Buer as they work down the short chute through turn number 7. Through the chicane of turn number 8, they set up over the curbing. They'll go as they enter into the hairpin of turn number 9.
Yeah, Landon Buer looks content to work with Ethan Tovo at the moment. He's already pulled a little bit of a gap now to send Drummond in 3rd position, but really that top 3 came back together. We saw Tovo get out to that lead at the start of the race after passing Jackson Tovo. But over the last couple of laps, it's been Landon Buer who's been the quickest kart on the track. And now as they come around to complete lap number 7, this is going to be interesting to watch. How consistent is Buer? You see now, as they come down the front straight, you're going to see continuous hand signals. But now Buer goes out, makes a pass on Ethan Tovo as they come into turn 1. And he's going to get crossed over here. Tovo's going to be on the wrong side of the track. And now that allows us in Drummond to get himself into 2nd, getting past Ethan Tovo. Landon Buer is now in the lead. Tovo's going to try back to the inside, gets past us in, coming through turn number 5 and up towards turn 6. And now Ethan Tovo looking for the lead through 7. Now he's going to go back down the inside of Landon Buer. What a nice amount of action here as Ethan Tovo finds himself back in the race lead. And he's going to create a little bit of chaos behind him as Ascend Drummond has found himself in 2nd place now. And they're going to have to reset and chase back down Ethan Tovo, who now has a comfortable gap back at the front.
Landon Buer really had a great run as they enter turn 1, but just could not be able to capitalize on it, and now loses another position, moving back to 3rd position now as they work their way out of turn 13 and 14. Jackson Tovo still quite a ways back from your top 3 as they come out of turn number 14. Across the line is going to be 2 laps to go here at the Autobahn Country Club. Heading into turn 1, Ethan Tovo still has a comfortable advantage now by half a second over Ascend Drummond as they work their way through the top of the hill of turn 3, down into turn 4 they will go. Great racing action here, but it looks like Ascend Drummond and, of course, Landon Buer are not going to have enough time to catch back up to Ethan Tovu.
Yeah, really a masterclass of racecraft there from Ethan Tovo. Was aggressive to get himself back from 3rd to 1st in only 4 corners. And in the process, made it to where Sindrumlev made a lot of moves there and had to get 2nd from Landon Buer, which cost both of them time. But now we see Brady Schott has caught the back of this group. So through all the action, has found himself up, and he goes for 4th position. He's got fastest lap right now. I don't think he's going to have time to get all the way up to 2nd, but certainly Brady Schott has come on strong at the end of this race and will be a factor in the final as they now head up to complete the 2nd to last lap of this race, heading to the white flag. Drummond goes defensive into turn 1 on Landon Buer. That might compromise him coming through 1 and into 2, but now as they come up towards 3, again goes defensive, and Ethan Tovo is going to love this as he drives off into the sunset in the race lead.
Ethan Tovu is looking to capitalize to take home the first of many victories possibly this weekend here at the Autobahn Country Club, as Ethan Tovu still maintains about a 0.6 of a second lead over Ascend Drummond and Landon Buer as they work through the chicane of turn number 8, the hairpin of turn number 9. There you see Drummond move up to still P2, holding strong over Landon Buer as they work through turn number 10. Down the short chute for the final time, approaching turn number 11. It is still going to be Tovu still maintaining. This is a great battle, though, for 2nd place between Drummond and Buer. They're going to go side by side. Here comes, of course, Brady Schott moving up as well. He's going to get behind Landon Buer to see if they can move up. And as they come out across the line, it is going to be Ethan Tovu, your pre-final winner here in the Miami Mini Swifts. Landon Buer 2nd, Ascend Drummond in 3rd, Brady Schott in 4th position. Jackson Tovu, not the race finish he was hoping for, in 5th position. Then it's Bien Arbenatini in 6th, and then Brandon Saraki rounding out your top 7.
Yeah, so at the front of the field, you've got Ethan Tovo extending his championship margin to 13 points over Sindrumlev. But the real stories from this race are the guys that did not have a good pre-final. Those being Jackson Tovo, who is now officially out of championship contention after that pre-final where you started on pole but ended up 5th place. And Benham Abernathy, who came into this race 3rd in points, is going to have a lot of work to do now, starting 6th in the final. And again, the pre-final, only 50 points to the winner, but you can lose a fair amount of points by some poor finishes, which is what has happened to Benham Abernathy in this race.
It certainly has been the case here, but of course we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, it will be the Miami KA 100 Juniors out on the track. You're watching, of course, the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series from the Autobahn Country Club, only on Kart Chasers.
Kart Store USA is a kart parts supplier that racers and retailers can count on when they need reliable advice and service. We focus on servicing all racers with honesty and pride while maintaining customer satisfaction. We carry a full stock of Kart Republic and Tony Kart chassis, as well as Miami and Vortex Rock engines. We've also got a host of other parts available and in stock, such as products from Rev Performance Materials, Jekko Racing Seats, and more. We have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. And on top of that, if your order exceeds $200, shipping is on us. Check out all we have to offer today by visiting us online at kartstore-usa.com.
Maryland, USA.
Kart Chasers coverage of the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series season finale at the Autobahn Country Club, and it is Adam Maxwell and Connor Fasching who will lead the charge in the 206 medium category as they work their way across the line. Green flag is out, and already Maxwell and Fasching will battle for the race lead. Adam Maxwell will take over the race lead as they climb the hill up to turn number 3. Great racing action in this 6-car field as they dive down through turn number 4 in this 206 medium category, sponsored by Miller Wright Incorporated.
Yeah, we'll have to see if anyone can challenge Adam Maxwell. You're seeing Connor Fasching now up in second position. He has been fast all weekend, was able to qualify on the outside of the front row. He's now got a gap back to Das in third position aboard the MPG Motorsport Will Power Kart as they now head towards, I believe that's turn 11. Now you can see Maxwell just continuing to run very efficiently up at the front. Not really doing too much as we focus in on Hubert Das and Braden Johnson fighting for the third position now. Looks like they're just losing a little bit of touch to the front, too, as Fasching's gone along with Adam Maxwell to complete lap number 1. As they come around through turn 14, Maxwell, he's been the dominant force all season long. He comes down, lap number 1 complete. He's got about a 2-car length lead over Connor Fasching. We'll have to see if Fasching can keep with them. We've seen a lot of other people try this year at Route 66 and do it successfully for a while, but have not been able to come away with too many main event victories.
Certainly is the case. Of course, Harbor Dawes looking to see if he can have a better run compared to his last run over at the Stars Championship Series in New Jersey. Didn't have the best of runs there that weekend, but of course looking to see if he can capitalize on a strong finish here in the 206 medium category as we watch on the battle for the race lead between Maxwell and Connor Fasching, who will lead the charge in first and second. Harbor Dawes holding on in third. He is under pressure from Braden Johnson in the fourth position as they work out of turn number 10, heading down to the short chute over at the hairpin of turn number 11. You see right there Maxwell Fasching still holding strong 1-2 as they work out at turn number 12, approaching towards turn 13 and 14 now as we have 2-car breakaway between each of the 6 cars out on the racing circuit as they come across the line. Adam Maxwell, Connor Fasching leading the charge as Connor will take on the fastest lap with a 58.362.
Yeah, really interesting how this field is spread out. You've got Maxwell and Facing up at the front, running right there together. You've got Javier Dawson, Braden Johnson. Now Johnson's got himself up into third position in turn 3, I believe that was. So Johnson and Dawson working together in third and fourth. And then you've got Spencer Schmidt and Jalen Kerr in fifth and sixth, a couple seconds back on those two. So at the moment, you've got 3 groups of 2, all of them really running different paces. You've seen Maxwell and Facing in the low 58s, Dawson, Johnson in the high 58s, and Kerr and Schmidt quite a ways off. So unless something changes, it looks like it's going to be 2 by 2 by 2 through the rest of this race. As now you can see, looking back towards the backside of the track, it looks like Adam Maxwell retains that lead, but Connor Facing is coming right with him in second position.
He certainly is as they work out of turn number 14 across the start-finish line, as Maxwell and Facing will lead the charge there. You see Maxwell in that blue and white cart with the orange helmet, and then, of course, Connor Facing in all green there in his number 11 machine as they climb the hill over at turn number 3. And I got to ask right quick, Emery, we see this happening here with a lot of these drivers. For drivers such as Kerr and Schmidt, what can they try and learn from this pre-final event, even though they're really not in contention to go up there to challenge for the race lead in the pre-final event because of just how far they're back, unless something were to happen between your top 4? What can they learn to try to utilize to go back to their tuners to let them know, hey, this is what adjustments we need to make, so that way we can be a little bit more competitive or even closer to their competition for the finals?
Yeah, I think for someone like Jalen Kerr who's in 5th position, I mean, the reality of it is she's about 1.7 seconds off the pace. You're not going to find that just over the course of a pre-final. So the biggest thing is about learning where you can get better, sort of understanding your own driving, making sure you're running as consistent as you can. You get back to your tent at AMAX Racing, you look at the data, you see where you're losing time to Adam Maxwell, you see kind of what sort of inputs you can do differently, and you just try to make incremental improvements, because that's the thing. A guy like Adam Maxwell's been doing this for a long time. He is a really fast driver, and finding that second and a half that you need to find to beat him isn't going to happen in just one session. So it's all about just kind of focusing on the long term and having fun while you're doing it, finding those little battles you can run for 5th position, beating out Spencer Schmidt. So that's kind of the mindset you've got to take, because if you just try to focus on gaining a second in the session, it's usually not going to happen.
Certainly is the case. Great noticing on that action here as we watch back up towards the front of the field here. Adam Maxwell along with Connor Facing leading the charge here. We also see Braden Johnson, who's now moved up to P3 around Harbor Das right there as we watch this battle for 3rd position. Not really seeing anything happening. They're just trying to log some laps here to try to get, as they come out of turn number 13 and 14, they are going to get the halfway signal this time around. Tuck the head down and heads down the long front straightaway, heading back into turn number 1 as they work their way up the hill to turn number 3. Maxwell still holding strong, but Connor Facing really setting the time down. A 57.961 currently is the fastest lap of this pre-final event.
Yeah, so Facing has done a really good job of staying right in the tracks of Maxwell. He's not made a move yet. I feel like he's content to just run in second. They've got a big gap both in pace and on track to what Braden Johnson and Hubert Das are doing. So at the moment, I really do think this is a good race by Facing. We saw in qualifying he did not quite have the pace to match up with what Maxwell was doing, about 0.6 of a second off. But now as we get to the pre-final, it looks like he's found a little bit of pace. He's gone back to the tent, made an improvement, and now he's right on the bumper of Maxwell. So I don't know if he's going to try and make a move here in the pre-final or just stay content with running in second, but certainly this is a positive sign for Connor Facing as they come around to complete lap number 6. We'll see if he stays in line. He's still content to push Maxwell heading to complete lap 6. They both run the same lap, which is to be expected, and they continue to pull upwards of half a second on the rest of the field every lap.
Javier Das was able to set a personal best for him, a 58.722, as the field works their way down through the top of the hill at turn 3, now approaching over towards turn 5 and 6. As they work their way through, Maxwell and, of course, Facing continue to hold strong as they work through the kink of turn 7 and 8. And then down into the hairpin, really no pressure whatsoever from your competitors as they work their way through, continuing to log laps around the Autobahn Country Club kart circuit, as this is, of course, the season finale for the Route 66 Sprint Series. Of course, this is our first day of action here. We're currently still going through the pre-finals. We have quite a bit of racing left to go for pre-final action before we kick off the finals, starting at 3:09 this afternoon here as the field works their way out of turn number 14. We see Maxwell tuck the head down a little bit, try to get a little bit more speed as it comes across the line. It is going to be now 3 laps to go for your top 2.
Adam Maxwell setting a personal best on that. But now Finally, Connor Fashing makes a move into turn 3. He's been patient this entire race. Looked like he was able to get a little bit behind Maxwell. Got a good run, and now Maxwell's going to cross him over, coming down through turn 5 and 6. A really nice move by Adam Maxwell there, but we've seen the front 2 battle. We know now that Connor Fashing isn't just going to sit there in second this whole race. He is going to try to make moves. Adam Maxwell, though, was ready for that one, was able to get the run on exit of turn 4, cross him back over, and Maxwell back out to the point, which he's been this entire race. But still, really nice to see the front 2. Connor Fashing has had an excellent race to make sure that Adam Maxwell does not pull away here. As they get close to 2 to go, you have to think that Fashing's going to continue to try to make that sort of aggressive move, and hopefully this time make it stick.
He's going to try to see what he can do here as we see the flag man have the popsicle sticks in the air. 2 laps to go for your race leader of Maxwell and Fashing. Fashing not close enough to make anything work out into turn number 1, but as they climb the hill through turns 2 and 3, he'll show his nose just a little bit, but not close enough to make anything work. Down the hill through turn 3, he'll look to the inside of turn number 4, not able to make anything work as they head back behind the hill over at turn 5 and 6. But the good news is for Connor is with that pass that he tried to attempt on that previous lap, he's able to keep that in the back of his mind and realizing, okay, this is something I can try to pull off if I can make it and time it right when we go to finals action later today.
Yeah, I have to think the critical thing there to learn is that Maxwell immediately searched for the switchback move. And if you're Fashing, maybe next time you don't necessarily go all the way past coming through 3 and kind of edge Maxwell all the way out to the edge of the track. You make it to where he can't cross you over because he can't fully cross back. So I really think this is going to come down to kart placement here, as it often does in Briggs with that much strategy going into the racing. But as they come down to the white flag, Maxwell's got a little bit of a gap now to work through. He goes a little bit defensive. I don't know if that's necessary. He did not look back at all. Certainly good coaching on the AMAX Racing part, but certainly maybe not the best idea for this situation. But now Maxwell continues to lead as they come through turn 4, heading up towards 5 now. And this really does seem like Adam Maxwell's race to lose, but Connor Fashing is going to try something, I would have to imagine, on this last lap.
He's going to see what he can do as they come over to turn 6 and 7 now as they approach the hairpin of turn 8. A great passing opportunity for him, but he decides to stay tucked up behind Adam Maxwell as the field works their way over towards turn number 10 down the short chute as they approach turn number 11. Connor Fashing really looks to the outside this time. Going to take the long way around through turn 12. Crosses over to the inside, not able to complete the pass as they come out through towards number 12. Approaching turn 13 and 14 for the final time in the pre-final action here for your 206 medium category as they come out across the line. It is going to be Adam Maxwell who will take home the checkered flag over Connor Fashing in second place as we watch on to see about with the battle for third between Braden Johnson and Harbor Das. It is going to be Javier Das who will move up to P3, Braden Johnson back to P4, Jalen Kerr and Spencer Schmidt, they will come across the line, and it will be Kerr over Schmidt for 5th and 6th position.
Yeah, so a good finish to the Briggs 206 medium class, sponsored by Millwright Racing. Certainly a nice start to the weekend for Adam Maxwell. He won the pole, he wins pre-final. He's been dominant all season, but now he's got Connor Fashing, who's been very fast all weekend, was able to find a little bit of extra pace in the pre-final to keep right on Maxwell's bumper. As they come to the final, we'll have to see if Javier Das and Braden Johnson can find a little bit of extra pace as well, but certainly those two look primed to make a good battle heading into the final.
Certainly is the case here. We are going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, it'll be the Miami Micro Swifts next on the track, sponsored by Quick Swim. You are watching the 2022 season finale of the Route 66 Sprint Series from the Autobahn Country Club, only on Kart Chasers.
Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule is support available at all levels, from club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the TKNA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the SCUSA Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there.
I'm Billy Vincent, owner of MPG Motorsports. What we do at MPG is we try to keep it a nice, fun family atmosphere, try to combine sort of the bigger things and of the bigger teams and the professionalism down with sort of some of the fun, sort of family-oriented atmosphere. We try to not only develop drivers, but also the parents and the families for just in knowledge in general in motorsports. It all starts in karting. What we try to do is try to help the drivers, the moms, the dads understand the sport of motorsports in general, not just karting, but what it takes to get all the way up through. Whether you end up wanting to be a driver or a mechanic or an engineer, you know, we can help you with that, and that's what we're here for. If you're interested in joining us at MPG, our home base is at Whiteland Raceway Park in Indianapolis, and you can contact us at info@willpowerkart.com. And one of our great people will reach out to you, and we'll try to put the best program together.
Odenthal Racing Products, your #1 producer in engine mounts since 1992, along with our leading-edge designs and product development, such as the Odenthal Racing Products EasyGP camera mount, which comes in 4 different styles and can be used on any karting platform. To see our products online, go to odenthalracing.com.
Welcome back to the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series season finale at the Autobahn Country Club. Taylor Burris here along with Emery Lydia as we are back underway for the IAME Micro Swift category out on the track, sponsored by Quick Swim. And it's going to be Cameron Marcia who will lead them to the green flag with AJ Stoner, Tucker Trebe, Holden Harder, Jacob Majeski, Isaac Nolan, Sultan Baldock, and Christopher Utsi rounds out your top 8 as they get ready to take the green flag. As we are once again ready to go. Nope, not good enough. The field's not lined up, so we're going to go one more lap here before we get this show on the road. Audrina Rowe will be in 9th, and Pearson Gulseth rounds out your top 10. Of course, curious to see, did Audrina be able to get back out on the track? Of course, she had a tough break in qualifying, only getting 1 lap, but it looks like I think she did be able to make it out on the track for this race here.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what she can do, maybe a little bit out of position. Only got the 1 lap in, was still good enough to put her in the top 10. But really, up at the front all season, it's been AJ Stoner and Cameron Marcia. Marcia has the championship clinched. He's on pole. As they get set to go for the start, you've got a lot of drivers in this Microswift field. 16, I believe that's the highest amount we've had all season. As we get ready for the green flag, we're racing here in Microswift.
Micro Swift's back at it as they buzz on down into turn number 1, and it's going to be AJ Stoner and Cameron Marcia battling for the race lead as they climb the hill at turn number 3, and I believe it's going to be Cameron Marcia who will take over the race lead as they head down into turn number 4 and 5, working their way down over to turn 6 before they approach turn number 7, and there you see them work their way through. It's going to be Marcia, Stoner, and Trebe, your top 3, as they work their way over to the chicane of turn number 8 into the hairpin zone of turn 9. A great drive right now by Marcia, but as they work their way through, here comes AJ Stoner with a little help from Tucker Trebe to lead the charge as they work out of turn number 10.
Yeah, already a good start for your championship winner in Cameron Marcia. You're already seeing AJ Stoner in 2nd. He's had a lot of raw pace in the Briggs category, and the Swift has been hit or miss this season, but already a good start for him. And then you got Holden Harder, who's worked his way up from 4th on the grid to 3rd at the end of the first lap here. Coming down the straightaway, he's lost Stoner a little bit on the opening lap, but he's still in a good position. Isaac Nolan's moved himself up to 4th. Jacob Majeski is in 5th. Majeski's had a really good season. Got his first ever Route 66 win at the last round at Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati. He's up there as well. But it's Cameron Marcia continuing to lead the way with a now about 5 kart length gap back to AJ Stoner and Holden Harder in 2nd and 3rd.
Currently right now, it's your biggest mover of the race goes to Isaac Nolan, who's gained 2 spots right now. Throw in Callahan Myers, who's also picked up 2 spots. He's now running in the 11th position as they work their way towards the back half of the course out of turn number 9, approaching turn 10 as they make the short run over towards turn 11. Cameron Marcia, AJ Stoner, your top 2, with Holden Harder in 3rd position as they work their way through turns 11 and 12 and 13 as they make the long sweeping corner out of turn number 14. Across the line they are going to go, and as they work their way through, the IAME Micro Swifts are really getting into action here. As here's a pass forward position between Harder and Stoner down into turn number 1, and give that position to Holden as he moves up a spot. And that is actually the pass forward 3rd position. So Isaac Nolan moves up to P3 with that beautiful pass.
Yeah, already seeing some good action here as AJ Stoner is going to have a lot of work to do to catch up, but already Isaac Nolan now is into 3rd position. So a good opening few laps for him. He started this race up in 6th position. He's up to 3rd now. He'll have to set his sights now on AJ Stoner and Cameron Marcia. Marcia's just kind of controlling the race in the lead. No one's been able to match the pace that he's done as they now look to complete lap number 3 as they come through the backside of the track. This is really important for Marcia, not just for his own individual development, but also in this weekend to end off the season on a high note. Only lost 1 race all season, and that was because he had a mechanical failure in the pre-final up at Cincinnati. So now, as they come down to complete lap number 3, Marcia continues to set fast time, but now Isaac Nolan from 3rd position. We've seen him on the calendar this year, but now this has been a good showing for him so far in the pre-finals. He's up to 3rd position and chasing after AJ Stoner in 2nd.
Really putting the pressure on right now, as currently Cameron Marcia holds a 0.7 of a second lead over Stoner and Nolan. And of course, Adrena Rowe is out there on the circuit. She picked up 1 spot currently right now in the 8th position. Tucker Trebe has fallen back 3 spots as well after starting inside the top 5 at one point. So really not the run he's looking for here in these pre-final actions as we work our way through out of turn number 10 down the short chute over to 11. Marcia and Stoner trying to work together and try to see if they can pull away. How about a little bit of passing for position a little further back as we see Holden Harder, Majeski, and of course Tucker Trebe battling for position for the 4th spot as they work their way out of turn number 14.
Yeah, that looked to be Jacob Majeski getting himself up into the 4th position. So a good run from him up there. He's done a 56.1 on that last lap, about 2/10 off of what Cameron Marcia did in the lead of the race at a 55.9. So Majeski needs to find over the pace to really clinch his 2nd in the championship, but this has been a good run so far for him in the pre-final. Holden Harder continues to fall back. Don't know if maybe they missed the tire pressure or what, but he's really lost some ground since having a good start to get himself up into 3rd. And now, just looking down the rest of the field, you got Tucker Trebe, who's had a rough pre-final so far in 6th. But really, the story of this race continues to be Cameron Marcia controlling the field at the front. He's got about 0.8 of a second now to AJ Stoner in 2nd, and unless some massive pace development happens, it looks like Marcia's got everyone covered now. Stoner's got a little bit of a gap back to Isaac Nolan in 3rd, who continues to run a really good pace. And then there's even more of a gap back to Jacob Majeski, and then a big gap back to 5th and 6th of Harder and Trebe, who have fallen back in this race. So already you're seeing Marcia developing a lead up at the front as he resets fast time again and does a 55.7. Just continuing to click off the laps just a little bit faster than the chasing pack as they now hit the halfway point and continue on in this 10-lap pre-final.
They are certainly really starting to drop the hammer for Cameron Marcia as he is currently trying to stretch it out even further, almost to about a 2nd gap between himself and AJ Stoner for this race lead. Isaac Nolan trying to also close the gap between him to move up into P2. He's right there and gets a big run out of the chicane of turn number 8 as they work their way over towards turn 9 and really tries to see what they can do as we watch the battle for P4 between the 22 machine of Tucker Trebe, who is able to get around Jacob Majeski in that 4th spot as we watch on these two battling for position. That's Holden Harder right there actually in the mix. So this is going to be the battle for 5th spot as they come out of turn 12 and 13. They make the run out of 13. Heading into 14, a little bit of a gap now stretching out between Trebe and Harder as they continue to make the run down into the front straightaway.
Yeah, already seeing a good run here from AJ Stoner. He's just done his fastest lap of the race, beating out Cameron Marcia by just a little bit of time there, only about 0.5, but it's enough to get himself back within 0.9 of a second. But really, the pace from Trebe and Harder continues to fall. If we saw Tucker Trebe get by Holden Harder last lap around, this lap they're continuing to fight, but they're just do not have the pace to keep up with Jacob Majeski, Isaac Nolan, AJ Stoner, and of course Cameron Marcia all the way up at the lead. So the front 4 have a gap to 5th and 6th now, and they continue to run fast laps as Marcia. That time was not his best lap, but still right there up there with what AJ Stoner was able to do in 2nd.
And as they continue to work their way through the field, another driver who's been on the move is Callahan Myers now breaking into the top 10 once again in that number 70 machine as they work their way towards the back half of the course, approaching the final few corners. 3 laps to go for Cameron Marcia. AJ Stoner continues to work his way through. Lost quite a bit of time that time around. 1.3 seconds separates your top 2. Cameron Marcia definitely has checked out on the field as we watch on the battle for position right here on screen. This is going to be the battle for P7, I believe, between Adrena Rowe and Slayton Baldock as they work their way towards the back half of the course. There you see Cameron Marcia stretching it out even further over AJ Stoner.
Yeah, Marcia last lap around a 55.759. His best lap of the race was a 55.754. So insane consistency from the young driver. Marcia has been dominant all championship long. continues to stretch his lead in this race. The Granger, Indiana native on the nitro kart, he just continues to click off the laps now. As we see him rounding turn 13, heading to turn 14, you can't even see AJ Stoner in the shot. He's got that much of a gap on him as he now heads down to get the 2-to-go signal, getting a little bit of coaching from his mechanic on the side, and now looking down, AJ Stoner can't lose another 3 tenths behind. Isaac Nolan lost a couple tenths. Majeski lost a couple tenths. Treve and Harder again lost more time. So really no one is able to match Cameron Marsha even on his battle laps. He did a 56.0. No one else came close to that, and this looks to be a dominant performance by him in the pre-final.
It's certainly to be the case here for Cameron Marsha as he leads the charge once again out of turn number 6. He's already in turn 7 and 8, approaching the hairpin of turn number 9 before anybody else has, as he definitely is going to be the dominant figure here this weekend at the Autobahn Country Club. Cameron Marsha leads the charge down into turn 11. Once again, he's coming to the white flag here at the Autobahn Country Club as he works his way through turn 12. A very smooth and consistent run for the young driver.
Yeah, certainly. This is what we've seen Marsha do quite a bit this season. Again, undefeated on the season until round 5 at Cincinnati. Did not get that win only because he had to start dead last after a mechanical failure in the pre-final. He has found himself up at the leader race, just continuously racing his way comfortably, finding ways to win races, and the rest of the field not able to really find that kind of rhythm. We've seen AJ Stoner come close, we've seen Jacob Majeski come close, and we've seen Holden Harder at times come close, but none of them have had the consistency to match what Marsha has done. As they come now on the white flag lap, now coming up through turn 7, through 8, and into 9, it's just a smooth run from Cameron Marsha. He's been really consistent this whole race. Hasn't been overdriving it. He's been running 55.7s, 55.8s the entire race. As he comes down through the skid pad section, heading up towards turn number 11 and into 12. Cameron Marsha looks poised to take yet another victory as he heads to the finish line in the pre-final. A dominant display from the number 14.
And out of turn number 14, car number 14, Cameron Marsha will take home the pre-final win for your Miami Micro Swifts here as he comes across the line. Checkered flag in the air. AJ Stoner will come home second. Isaac Nolan in third. Jacob Majeski in fourth. Tucker Treve will come home in fifth. Holden Harder, Slayton Baldock, Audrina Rowe will move up to P8 with Christopher Uetzi in ninth, and Callahan Myers rounds out your top 10. Great racing action here for the Micro Swift category as the field works their way through 16 cars out there on the track, and that will conclude the pre-final action for the Micro Swifts. We'll see them later on this afternoon, but next up onto the track, it is going to be the Miami KA100 Juniors powered by Advanced Design Studios up next on the track for their pre-finals. Of course, you'll catch that action here after this quick commercial break as you're watching the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series Championship finale only on Kart Chasers.
How you doing? My name is Mike Doty from Mike Doty Racing from Orange County, New York. We're about an hour north of New York City. We're a full-service kart shop that we supply IAME, Rotax, and all rock engines. We sell OTK parts and all the tires for all the different series. We support USBKS, SCUSA, Rotax, which is the Stars and Stripes, and the Rock Winter Tour. What we do is we try to get the drivers better by data, driver coaching, and setup. We have a lot of good drivers that come through our program. We have a lot of experience. I've been doing it for almost 35 years, and we just try to translate that to all our customers.
For more info about Mike Doty Racing, you can contact us at mikedotyracing@gmail.com or call us at 845-551-0572.
Welcome back to Kart Chasers coverage of the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series from the Autobahn Country Club. It is time for the IAME KA100 Juniors category, brought to you by Advanced Design Studios, as Cash Perkins, Austin Olds, Henry Wheeler, Lucas Klemek, and Quinn Mcpherson round out your top 5 starting order as the field works their way through the back half of the course to get this action underway. 10 laps of action here for the pre-finals for your KA100 Juniors category. As the field works their way into the start box, we will see Perkins, Olds lead them to the green flag. Nope, they're not going to do it this time. They're going to go one more time around. They did not like the starting lineup for that group, so we'll go quickly through the rest of your field in the top 10. Braden Zervez is in 6th, Ava Dobson 7th, Michael Levitt is going to be 8th position with Jackson Wilney in 9th, and Gian Buffamonte rounds out your top 10.
Yeah, I'm looking through the rest of the field. Charlie Steins and Clayton Cypher make up row 6. Cami Fisher and Jocelyn Schlinker make up row 7. And then rounding out your field, you've got Cameron Brinkman, the substitute driver for Ava Hansen this weekend, in championship condition. He has to make sure that he can get up through the field to get points in the pre-final, because Olds and Wheeler, who are also in contention, start 2nd and 3rd as we get set to go green in this one.
As they come out, and not good enough. They're going to have to go one more time around. And Flagman not too happy with some of these drivers. They got to be like, come on, guys, let's get themselves lined up, slow it down a little bit. Let's try one more time. 3rd time's the charm, I would have to say, Emery. Is that right?
I mean, I've had races where the first 5 times get false started, and you end up with the 3rd row of the grid starting 1st and 2nd. Happened to me a few years ago. So you never know, but certainly Cash Perkins and Austin Olds are going to have to figure things out here, because the first 2 starts were not good enough, and now they head back on the grid. We'll see what they can do this time around.
Let's see if we can make it green flag racing this time as they come into the start zone. Perkins and Olds will lead them to the green flag as they try to get themselves sorted. Green flag is out. We're racing here at the Autobahn Country Club, and a big run by Perkins to the inside. He will hold on to the race lead with Austin Olds battling with Henry Wheeler for the 3rd, 2nd, and 3rd spot as they climb the hill up turn number 3. Down into turn number 4, it's going to be Austin Olds moving up to P2 as they climb down the hill in turn 4 and 5.
Already a nice start to the race from Cash Perkins. We haven't seen a lot of him up at the lead so far this season, but he's got a couple of really experienced veterans behind him now. Austin Olds in 2nd. He's got to win this race for the championship. Henry Wheeler's in 3rd. Again, another guy in the championship condition. Then you've got another battle as well going on from 4th on back. Guys like Lucas Klimek looks like he settled himself up into 4th position on the EOS kart. So certainly a good start to the race for Cash Perkins, though. He's just controlling this. We'll get a read on where Cameron Brinkman is at the end of lap number 1, because he's another guy worth watching in the championship. Filling in for Ava Hansen as they now come across the line to complete lap number 1 is Cash Perkins, leading his first lap of the season here on the Route 66 Tour. He's in P1, Austin Olds 2nd, Henry Wheeler 3rd. And looking down through the field, Cameron Brinkman's already made himself up to 8th, as now Austin Olds goes to the lead coming through turn 3.
Austin Olds really now wanting to kick it into overdrive. He wants to try to see if he can win the championship here for your IAME KA100 Juniors category as they come out of turn 6. Heading to the short chute of turn number 7, drivers jockeying for position in 2nd and 3rd as Cash Perkins looks to see if he can try to back up to the front of the field and get around Austin Olds as more drivers jockey for position outside of the top 5 as they come out of turn number 10. Down the short chute towards turn 11. Great racing action as Perkins tries to see if he can get his way back around Olds as we watch the battle for 3rd between Wheeler, Klemek, and Zervez, who are rounding out your top 5 as they come out of turn 14.
Yeah, that was actually a disaster of a lap from Cash Perkins. Fell all the way from the race lead. He's all the way back in about 8th now, as now the 2 teammates, Austin Olds and Henry Wheeler. We've seen them come together at times this season. We've seen them work together at times this season, both of them in the championship fight, as now another pass. Cameron Brinkman up to 5th position from the back of the grid already. This has been sensational stuff from the super sub, subbing in for Ava Hansen. He's trying to keep her championship hopes alive. In the meantime, the 2 guys that he's got to beat, Henry Wheeler and Austin Olds, are fighting at the front of the field. You can see visibly Brinkman so confident in that Lando Norris kart running up in the top 5, as he's now got Braden Zervs and Ava Dobson working together in 3rd and 4th. Or excuse me, I believe that as Jackson Wilney's found himself up to 4th as well. So he's got a lot of work to do here, but certainly a nice start to the race from Brinkman in 5th.
Brigman really trying to put the pressure down and try to talk about a super sub. That is what it means right there as they work their way out of turn 14, heads tucked down in order to try to get as much speed and try to work their way back into turn 1. It's going to be Olds, Wheeler, Zerbez, and Jackson Wiloli rounding out your top 4. And there you, of course, see Cameron Brigman back into the top 5 as he is definitely going to be on the charge. 10 spots gain already here, and we're not even at the halfway point of today's race.
Make it 11 as he just made a move coming through turn 3 there to get by Jackson Wiloli on the number 5 cart. So Brigman has done so much good in this race already. A 53.5 on lap 2 was the purple lap. No one's come within a couple tenths of that. So a great start to the race for Cameron Brigman. But up at the front is Austin Olds and Henry Wheeler, the two MPG Motorsports guys working together, trying to get a little bit of a gap. But so far it's not working too well as Braden Zerbs in 3rd position is now the next target for Cameron Brigman, who in only 4 laps now as they come across the line has found himself all the way up in 3rd position now as he's got down the inside of Braden Zerbs. So Brigman, he started this race at the back of the field, and after only 4 laps, he's already filling in for Ava Hansen, found himself on the back of the 2 championship rivals for Hansen. So a sensational start to this race from Cameron Brigman.
The good news, of course, is for Brigman is even though he started at the back of the field for the pre-finals, however he finishes, that will be his starting position. That will be a big help right there, of course, for Ava Hansen and Brigman when they come to the finals later on this afternoon as we watch on Austin Old, Henry Wheeler, and, of course, none other than Cameron Brigman now, your top 3. Battling and jockeying for position as they come into turn 11. Down the short chute over to turn 12 and 13, we see Brigman really putting the pressure on as they work their way out of turn 14. This is going to be exciting to watch as they come across out of turn 14 halfway this time around.
Now Henry Wheeler sees Brigman behind and says it's time to go. And Wheeler passes Austin Olds for the race lead. But just like that, Cameron Brigman in turn 3 is going to take the race lead right back from Henry Wheeler. And now Cameron Brigman, who started this race in 15th position, it only took him 5 and a bit laps to find himself all the way up at the race lead. He is running laps that are 4/10 clear of the field, and now we'll see if he can pull away from the 2 MPG Motorsports teammates of Henry Wheeler and Austin Olds.
I'm not going to lie, of course, I know Ava Hansen is trying to go win a championship, but let's be honest, I would love to see Cameron Brigman do this again in the finals from dead last up to the lead. I mean, if he's able to do that in just 5 laps here in the pre-final race with only 10 laps, imagine what he can do in the finals. This is absolutely exciting racing for Cameron Brigman as he works his way out of turn 14 and has already stretched it out by a couple of kart lengths over Henry Wheeler and Austin Olds as they come across the line. Cameron Brigman, once again, your new race leader, and drops the hammer with a beautiful lap time of a 53.19 over Wheeler's 53.76. Just over 0.6 of a second separate those times.
I mean, at this point, you got to be wondering if Brigman goes through and wins this championship for Ava Hansen, what's the reward for him going to look like? I mean, he has done an outstanding job in this pre-final. This was supposed to be a disadvantage for him, starting all the way at the back of the grid, but if anything, he's made this race a lot more entertaining on his own and for everyone else just by being able to run all the way up through the field. And now, Austin Olds and Henry Wheeler, you guys have got to find some kind of pace if you're out there trying to find the speed to be able to keep up with Hansen's entry of Cameron Brigman, because otherwise this is just going to be a walk in the park for him to clinch Ava Hansen's championship. Because they come now to complete lap number 7, coming down to 3 laps to go. It's another couple tenths, I believe, for Brigman on this lap. It goes to 52.8. That's another 10th and a half clear what Wheeler's doing. And so another just sensational lap for Cameron Brigman. And just, again, continuing to stretch that lead at the front. He's running really smooth. And after all the hard work of getting himself up to the front of the field, he now continues to be consistent and fast.
One of our drivers who's absolutely who has been struggling is Cash Perkins. He has gained one of his spots back after falling back to 8th position, but now runs in 7th position. Currently about 0.4 of a second behind Lucas Klimek, who is holding on to 6th position as they work their way out through the back half of the course, approaching over towards turns 10 and 11 as they enter into the hairpin of turn 11. Through turn 12 they'll go, and of course Cameron Brigman continues this dominant run here today as we watch on the battle for P4 between Braden Zerbez and Jackson Wiloli as they work their way across the start-finish line. There you see Brigman cross the line again. Another purple sector time for him, 52.761, as Henry Wheeler, Austin Olds just scratching their heads trying to figure out what can we do to catch up to Brigman.
Yeah, I mean, Cameron Brigman, this is a guy that's been really fast on the national circuit this year. We saw him win in X30 Junior up at Road America. We've seen him up at the front in KA as well. So it's not like this is a massive surprise, but still, if you're Henry Wheeler or Austin Olds, this is desperation time, because if something doesn't change, you're going to lose the championship. It's as simple as that. And so for Brinkman, he's got to figure that this race is going to factor really well into his hands as they come to the final. Only about a lap and a third left in this one as well. Brinkman continues to extend his lead up at the front, but wow, I mean, Cameron Brinkman's pace in this one, just phenomenal. The battle for second might heat up here as we got Wheeler and Olds, the two teammates, up in second and third. You got Britton Zerves and Jackson Wolde. You continue to stay right on their tail in fourth and fifth. And then it's going to be interesting to watch to see how they battle it out, how much battling they do over this last lap, and if they're willing to risk it, especially for Wheeler and Olds, where a crash could derail their championship hopes.
Certainly could be the possibility as Cameron Brinkman adds salt to the wound for the rest of the field. A 52.759 here as they take the white flag. Brinkman still holding strong over Wheeler and Old, as Zerves is also trying to close in on this battle for second. He wants to try to get into the podium to get a better starting position for the finals later on this afternoon as the field works their way down the short chute over towards turn 11 and 12. Brinkman still holds strong. Henry Wheeler looking to stay and hold on to second from his teammate of Austin Olds. Out of turn 14 for the final time, it is going to be Cameron Brinkman across the line, checkered flag in the air, as he will pick up none other than the pre-final win. And just to add a little bit more salt to the wound, a 52.65 on the final lap here to take home the pre-final win for your Miami KA100 Junior category, powered by Advanced Designs.
Something big is going to have to change in the MPG 10 if they want any shot at Ava Hansen's championship, if they want any chance of winning this race from Cameron Brinkman, because Cameron Brinkman's pace in this race was phenomenal. We saw it. He gained 10 spots in 2 laps to put himself in the top 5, then picked them off one by one, and now he doesn't have to do any of that work in the final. He starts this race from pole position. He is going to be really difficult to beat if he has any sort of pace similar to what he did in this one. So Brinkman's in a good place, and we're going to see if Wheeler and Olds have anything to challenge him as they head to the final.
With that, we are going to take another commercial break, and coming up next, it is going to be the Miami KA100 Masters, powered by Franklin Douglas, here on the beautiful Autobahn Country Club's kart circuit for the season finale of the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series. You're watching all the action here live on Kart Chaser.
USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parolin Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParolinUSA.com.
Welcome back to our pre-final race of the afternoon here for the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series. It is going to be the IAME KA 100 Masters powered by Franklin Douglas, and it's going to be Laurentio Martin who will lead them to the green flag, and we are racing here for our pre-final event, and Martin will go ahead and take over the race lead and stretch it out by over multiple car lanes over the field as they climb the hill over to turn 3. Roman Pendaz is holding strong with Christian Vormier holding on your top 3 as they work their way over towards turn 5.
Yeah, already a good start for Laurentio Martin. We have seen him dominate this category all season. Did not make the Cincinnati race, but every other race he's been up at the front. But behind him is Christian Vormier, his Technokart teammate in second position. We've seen this a lot in the Masters category over the years. So Vormier's already picked up a spot over Roman Pendaz, but certainly this can be interesting to see. Can Martin be able to pull away from Vormier and the rest of the field, or will there be a pack that we saw like we did up in Cincinnati where it was 3 to 4 carts running behind Andy Kutcher? So certainly as they complete lap number 1, already a good start to the race here from Laurentio Martin. He's got about 2 or 3 car lengths from Christian Vormier as they come down to complete lap number 1. It's the 2 Techno carts up at the front, followed by Roman Pendaz in 3rd place.
Jeff Bays will be in the 4th position. Randy Klimek rounds out your top 5 as they continue to work their way through the circuit and continue to climb the hill, approaching over towards turn 5 and 6 before the short shoot over at turn number 7. But Martin and Vormier, the 2 teammates, working together to try to see if they can pull away from the field. Roman Pendaz currently about half a second back from Vormier as they work their way over towards the hairpin of turn 9 and then turn 10 before the short shoot of turn 11. But overall, Martin has definitely been the class of the field of your KA 100 Masters.
Yeah, already just the pace advantage that Martin has makes this very difficult for the rest of the field to stay intact, as now we focus on the battle for 4th. That was like Jeff Bays and Randy Klimek fighting in that 4th. Excuse me, not Klimek. Chris Sodernick is in 5th. Sorry on that one, but certainly at the front, it's already Martin building a big gap, 6/10 on that last lap over Christian Vormier. Then Pendaz isn't much quicker than what Vormier can do. So at the moment, it looks like Laurentio Martin has all the pace in the world to keep this fight from just being an actual fight and it just being just him up at the front. So a good start to the race from Martin as how he continues to stretch the lead over his Technokart teammate of Christian Vormier.
Yeah, Vormier really not putting the pressure on right now. He's going to be comfortably in that 2nd position. He has half a second advantage over Roman Pendaz, who holds on in 3rd position right now as the field continues to work on. Randy Klimek, though, he has fallen back to the 6th position after losing spots to Jeff Bays and Chris Surdink, who is holding on in the 5th spot currently right now as they work their way out of turn number 13 and 14. There you see them there on screen as they work their way across the line. Here comes, of course, Martin. Drops the hammer with a 53.078 last time by. Makes it a 53.105 as well for him last time by. Really dropping the hammer, putting on a great drive as he is 0.4 of a second faster than his teammate Christian Vormier.
Yeah, already a really good start to the weekend here from Laurentio Martin. Put himself on pole. Looks very good in that qualifying session. Now he looks even better in the pre-final. 4/10 clear on that last lap of Christian Vormier. Roman Pendaz does not have the pace to keep up with either of them at the moment. Really the closest battle on track right now is Jeff Bays and Chris Surdnick. We've seen Surdnick continue to look to the inside of number 6 car of Jeff Bays. Looks like they're pretty equally matched. They're running pace that's not too far from what Christian Vormier's running in 2nd. So it's not like they have no pace at all, but certainly between the 2 of them, they're keeping it interesting. And Randy Klimek in last place. He must have made a mistake on the 2nd lap of the race, but on the 3rd, he's able to do a 53.1, which is quicker than anyone other than Laurentio Martin.
Yeah, Klimek trying to see if he can work his way back up into the top 5 here as he works his way up to the top of the hill of turn number 3 and continues to try to put pressure on Chris Surdnick, who is currently holding strong in 5th position. Jeff Bays currently has a 0.2 of a second advantage over Chris and Randy as they work their way up through turn 7 as they approach the chicane of turn number 8. Great racing action here a little further back for that 4th spot between Bays, Surdnick, and Klimek as they work their way down out of the hairpin of turn number 9 and approach turn 10.
Yeah, so just still looking like now it's a 3-car battle for 4th on back. The front 3 have spaced themselves out. We continue to see Laurentio Martin run at the front of the field, running pace that's just a little bit quicker than what anyone else can do. But then the 4th through 6th battle is interesting. Is now looks like Randy Klimek tried to make a move into turn into the final corner, and he's made a mistake out of that corner, and now he's dropped the wheel, and that's going to end his race, or at least his hopes of being out in the top 5. as he falls way back, 2.5 seconds to be exact, from Jeff Bays, and that kind of cools off the battle for 4th and 5th.
That will move Chris Sertadank up to the 4th position right now as they work their way through. Everyone now separated anywhere between 1.5 seconds to almost 2 seconds now over the rest of the field. It's going to be Jeff Bays and Chris Sertadank, who are currently the closest out on the track. 0.8 of a second separates those two for 4th and 5th as they continue to log the laps here around the circuit. Coming up now as they work their way through turns 12 and 13, it is still Mardan who leads the charge once again, stretching it out by over his teammate 1.6 seconds as he comes across the line. Here they work their way through. We'll see what the gap is between him and Vormier as he drops the hammer with a 53.037. 2.1 seconds separates your top two.
Yeah, continuing to run a fantastic pace as Valencio Mardan. And really, this is what we've seen all season. Up in Badger, it was Danny Corcoran that stayed close to him. But in Newcastle, Mardan was in a league of his own. And now, so far, here at the Autobahn Country Club, it looks like Mardan's day as well. He's got over a 2-second gap back to Christian Vormier at this point. Pedans is 1.5 seconds back from Vormier. Sudanek is not really being challenged by Jeff Bays anymore, and Randy Klimek, obviously, with that mistake at the end of this 5th lap, had a really rough time of it. So now, really, this has turned into a practice session because you have all 6 drivers kind of on their own state of the track. You have time to kind of see what your kart is doing, get a good feel for it, and not come under fire from anyone. So we'll have to see how Mardan takes it. He's doing a 53.1, continuing to stay consistent. But for everyone else, this is a chance to see what their kart can do and not have to worry about being under pressure from anyone.
Certainly is the case here as drivers are logging laps and, of course, trying to just bring it home here with 3 laps to go for the field as they work their way out of turn number 6. Of course, Mardan just all by himself, continuing to drop the hammer with some beautiful runs here as he is approaching actually possibly some lap traffic. Nope, he is not at the moment. He still has quite a bit of ways to catch up to Randy Klimek, who is 3.10 seconds back from him at this point of the race as they work their way over towards turn 11 and 12. Continues to just drive away. Beautiful drive, very smooth, consistent as he works his way past out of the skid pad.
Yeah, already a good race for Valencio Mardan. Coming to 2 to go. It's about to get a little bit better as he now continues to run a very fast pace of 53.085. So just running 6 to 7 tenths quicker than what Vormier, what Pedans, what anyone can run to match him. So a fantastic weekend so far from Valencio Mardan. Back in the seat in the KA Masters category. He's running a really good pace, and that is all you could ask for here.
Certainly is the case here as we're going to see the white flag one more time around for Mardan as he tries to continue this dominating weekend here at the Autobahn Country Club as they work their way down towards the back half of the course, approaching turn number 10. As they work their way over towards turn 11, it is still Mardan, Vormier, and Pendans, your top 3, as they will set the field for the finals later on this afternoon. They're the final class here for the pre-finals, and of course the final race for the finals later on this day. Of course, we're going to go an extra 4 laps here for the finals as the white flag is out for Mardan as he continues to pull away from his teammate Christian Vormier, who will lurk his way through 4 seconds back. Roman Pendans a second further back, and then 3 seconds back is Chris Sertanek, who holds on in there as those two will work their way through. No pressure currently whatsoever from the teammates, but Randy Klimek has caught up to Jeff Bays, so we could have a battle for 5th spot here in the closing lap.
Yeah, Randy Klimek's pace in this race has been impressive from the back of the field. He's been faster than anyone outside of Vormier, just has made a couple of, outside of Mardan. He's only made a couple of big mistakes that have kind of cost him a lot of time, but certainly if Klimek can get that sorted, he might be a challenger for the podium. If not, maybe he could get up to Mardan. I don't know about that. Mardan has everything covered as he comes through the skip pad section and heads up to finish off this race.
And, of course, for Mardan, he has taken the pole position. He's taken now the pre-final win as he crosses the line and wins your pre-final race for your IAMI KA 100 Masters powered by Franklin Douglas. A great drive for him. Vormier comes home in second. Pedans in third. Sertanek in fourth. Jeff Bays holds on for Randy Klimek in the fifth as they work their way through. And, of course, this concludes our free coverage of the 2022 Route 66 Sprint Series from the Autobahn Karts or Autobahn Country Club Kart Circuit. We are about to get ready for the finals action If you have not yet done so, please try to subscribe to our premium channel here on Kart Chasers on YouTube as you want to catch all the action for this weekend as we get ready to kick off the finals actions here a little later on after 3 o'clock this afternoon. But with that, it's time that we say good afternoon and goodbye for the time being. Of course, I am Taylor Burris along with Emery Lydia. We'll be back later on for finals action. Make sure to subscribe later on this afternoon.